You could drink like literally 50 bottles of water in plastic bottles and you'll have less microplastics than 1 cup of coffee.
The cup thing creeps me out. Like I didn't realize the cup thing until like about a year ago.
The microplastic load that you get from putting hot coffee into that paper, aka plastic cup, because if the paper is coated in plastic.
Yeah,
the only reason the paper is
as of recently I'm aware, yes, but
the microplastic load that you drink from that is astronomical. You could drink like literally 50 bottles of water in plastic bottles and you'll have less microplastics than 1 cup of coffee.
Well, I didn't realize it was that bad.
It's bad. This is the 3 milligram cups.
I'll try one. Can I try one?
Please.
3 is not going to make me nauseous, right?
No.
I'll start getting nauseous.
I take 2. So
I had one of these. This is so weird because I was thinking about getting these before this podcast because I like it because it kind of like chills me out.
These are neurostimulators.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not, and I'm sure, if anybody sees this, they're gonna be like, oh, it's almost sponsored by Alp. No, I wish I was.
Yeah.
Maybe
that
sponsorship, but maybe we'll get there. So Tucker Carlson actually owns this company.
Okay. Tucker Carlson encouraged me to wanting to get these because I'm like, he's been taking them that long. Okay, so it's funny because I was on the Pacific Ocean.
So let's nicotine up before we
let's do it.
up.
All right, I'm in. Do you go upper lip or lower, or does it matter?
I go lower and then I'll switch them.
So you used to be, did you wear a dipper back in the day, Copenhagen?
I was a cop for 12 years. I was a cop for 12 years on midnight shift. If I didn't have chewing tobacco in my mouth, I'm falling asleep. I mean, I'm working from, I worked 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. for 10 of the 12 years of my career.
Oh my gosh, so that's hardcore. Were you Copenhagen or?
I was doing
Kodiak,
Skull and Kodiak.
Kodiak was hardcore, man. Doesn't it have like big pieces of like something like
fiberglass or shit in there? I mean, there was cockroaches.
Fiberglass.
I mean, did you ever do dip when you were a firefighter? No?
Just the nicotine pouch.
Just the
so
nicotine.
when you're like hardcore like that, do you swallow it at that point?
No,
you
I never.
Okay, I always wondered because I always spit. When I was a kid.
I had some friends that did.
I can consider myself somewhat.
Man.
I consider myself somewhat hardcore. I'm not that fucking hardcore.
Yeah, that's super.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, we went to the Pacific Ocean, my son and I, just last week, and I tried one of these for the first time. Then did a plunge in the ocean with this because he was telling me, "Dad, you got to try both together."
So
I felt fantastic.
Nicotine's a neurostimulator. I mean, I got guys that'll work out with a nicotine pouch.
All right.
And you do some caffeine, you do some nicotine. I mean, well, what are we talking about here?
I mean, we are talking about
we have caffeine and nicotine. These are stimulation things.
That's right.
And we're going to make coffee for everybody on the camera.
I like it. I mean, I wish they could join us. Well, they can. They can visually enjoy it.
So tell me real quick, give me an introduction of you and where you came from and where this coffee brand came from. I mean, you and I have a mutual friend.
Yes.
Who introduced us.
That's right.
And he's in the medical field, but he's a partner of yours as well.
He is. And this all started back in April. I mean.
Oh, so this just started?
We started the company September 29th, which was National Coffee Day and also Jason Thibault, our founder's birthday. So that was...
Okay.
It was unintended.
And shout out to Jason, Da Vinci Medical, Superhuman Protocol. He's a good buddy of mine. I've known him for years.
Yeah.
I have his Superhuman Protocol downstairs.
All right. Yes. It's impressive seeing his setup. I mean, it's an amazing setup.
So please.
Basically, I've been in coffee since 1992. So it's been a while.
Really?
I started off with coffee carts back then. I was a volunteer worker at a wolf sanctuary. We took care of mistreated and abused wolves.
I had a wolf from Wolf Sanctuary.
Did you?
I literally owned one.
What, in Missouri?
No, it was in Ohio actually.
Okay.
So they were. I ended up adopting a wolf hybrid because they were breeding them at one point.
Right.
And I had a 75% timber wolf, 25% German Shepherd. He was 145 pounds. Yes.
Yeah.
His name was Caleb. He was an awesome wolf.
Completely different, right?
Bad dog. Great wolf.
Exactly. That's what we did. We were very, very involved in reintroduction of the wolf into Yellowstone by just taking the wolves and doing programs and doing education.
Awesome.
It was volunteer work. We were way off the grid.
Okay.
So I needed some way to supplement my income as a volunteer. So I got into this coffee cart thing and just started traveling around the country doing art shows and festivals. I was 20. I was a kid. It was fun. And here I'm still. There's a saying in Latin America. He who's born under a coffee tree dies under a coffee tree. And coffee just sticks with you.
Yeah.
Everyone I know in coffee has always been in coffee.
Interesting.
And so I've been in it ever since. I drifted away. I produced a series. You can see it for free on Tubi. It's called Chasing Coffee. It's 13 episodes, and it's on Amazon Prime. It's on, right now, it's on American Airlines. You can see it if you're traveling internationally.
I can't wait to watch it.
Yes, if you're traveling internationally on American Airlines, Check it out. It's on favorites and American Airlines.
Super cool.
Kenyan Air, that kind of thing. So what we did in that series, what I did was I hosted and produced that series, and it was about coffee from seed to cup. So where coffee's grown, the cultures that brew and enjoy coffee. And we traveled all around the world, 13 different countries. And Jason had seen the series.
Yeah,
and
sure.
He'd saw it on Tubi. And he reached out to me just through an email. And I just saw this sort of email on there. Hey, thinking about a partnership opportunity. And it sounded, I thought that's probably some random hacker or some person, who knows, someone from China trying to, reach out. But when I saw it, I knew who he was.
Yeah.
And I thought, no kidding, Jason Tomo. So we connected right away. And what was interesting to me was I had always said, I had been still as a consultant involved in coffee, but I've been getting involved a lot in a crop alternative for coffee farmers, which was cannabinoid hemp.
Okay.
So I got into that. We started the first cannabinoid hemp farm on a coffee farm in El Salvador.
Okay.
And I've been working along those lines. We're sort of converging in some of those projects in Zimbabwe for the coffee. So that's a whole different story. But when I first started speaking with Jason, he really triggered my interest because I always said if I got heavily back into a specific coffee company, I would always want to do third-party lab analysis because we do it a lot for cannabinoid hemp.
Sure.
And cannabinoid hemp plants are phytoremediators, so they pull everything out of the soil. They use hemp plants to clean Chernobyl, for example.
Oh, yeah.
As you may know. So even in Vietnam, when we had Agent Orange, they used coffee and hemp. I
didn't know coffee was in the same league as hemp. I knew hemp.
Well, it's interesting because it was more for soil erosion.
Okay.
But that's why you don't want to drink Robusta coffee from Vietnam. To be honest with you, I would never touch that stuff because there's Agent Orange stuff going on. I can't prove that. I haven't seen the labs.
Sure.
I don't trust it. I'm like,
no shit. I mean, I'm a huge coffee guy. So I stopped drinking alcohol and I switched to coffee.
Oh, see, okay.
You know what I mean? Like I don't drink alcohol at all.
I'm getting to that point now too with alcohol.
I'm not against it.
No, it just kills me. It's killing me now.
It doesn't work anymore.
For me,
it doesn't. Yeah, it's too detrimental to my lifestyle.
You found it just was an obstruction. There was nothing. There was no upside.
I'm 40 years old. Not old, but I'm not a young man anymore. I'm not 25.
Right.
I noticed one day that I literally just didn't feel like I bounced back properly. And I had a really busy day, and it pissed me off. And I looked I looked in the mirror. I do these mirror talks all the time. I'm a big.
I've never tried that, but maybe I should. It's
it's
probably a good idea.
Well, I did this talk. And I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I'm like, you want to build major businesses. You want to do major disruption in industries. You want to be a billionaire one day. These are all things that I say out loud because I will be them. It will happen.
I don't doubt it.
You know what I mean? So I'm saying this, and I'm like, I don't have time to feel like this. I can't even risk one day to feel like that.
No, and it's horrible.
It's really bad for you as well. So sorry, I interrupted you.
Well,
but
no, I just in saying on that, that's what I've noticed was that I like to drink. I mean, not casually, I just love cocktails. I love the nuance and all the stuff. Yeah. But I got to the point where I just don't. I still do occasionally, but I don't feel good at all the next day.
Yeah.
I'm 53, so when I hit 48. It started changing quickly.
So I'm not going to tell you that there is a fix for this. Nobody take this advice because alcohol is bad for you. I'm going to continue that. But there is actually a way you can stop the hangover effect of alcohol because what alcohol does and how it processes in your body, it completely eradicates your glutathione levels.
Okay, that's what's going on.
So if you do glutathione IVs or glutathione injections and you're maintaining those and maybe you take a little bit of a heavier dose when you're going to go out drinking, your hangover will be significantly less or not at all.
Okay, I would like to learn more about that.
There is a way to combat it. Again, not saying that's your excuse to drink.
No, but it's nice to have a drink every night, not feel terrible the next day.
Well, I mean, I stopped drinking in late September and then I had one night where I drank. And I mean, I drank. I was hanging out with Tristan Tate. Andrew
right.
Tristan Tate.
Yes,
okay.
right. Yeah.
So I'm hanging out with Tristan Tate. I'm on an island in outside of Dubai on the World Islands. And Tristan's like, we're going to have some drinks. I'm like, how can I deny the chance of drinking with Tristan Tate? He's legendary. Right. He's a legendary drinker, by the way. He's almost immune to alcohol. I think he's got that weird
Really? Some
metabolite.
People are like that. They must.
I had probably 30 to 35 drinks with this man over a course of 6 to 7 hours.
Wow, that's a lot. That's many bottles, plural.
I can't believe that I was still standing, but it was such a great time. That's why I say I'm not against alcohol, but I just know it's bad for you.
I get it. That
and
makes sense.
will I, if there's an occasion, I mean, if one of I don't know who's a big time drinker that we can like some cool celebrity or something. Like all right, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of my idols from a young age.
Right. Yes.
Possibly my.
Well, you were similar generations, so how can he not be?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't even know I was born in the 80s. So
right.
I grew up with Arnold Schwarzenegger. If Arnold Schwarzenegger is like, we're going to drink wine, you think I'm not going to drink wine with Arnold Schwarzenegger? What the hell's wrong with you? Of course I am.
You are. Exactly.
That's crazy.
It's already going to happen.
You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
if I'm sitting here, or if I'm on Joe Rogan's podcast, he's like, hey, we're drinking bourbon tonight. Yeah, fuck yeah, we're drinking bourbon.
Right.
You know
exactly.
what I mean?
Well, one thing I will tell you, if you could, I discovered a really good rum cold brew. You take, instead of water, you put rum in, and you just do the same cold brew recipe, but you use a really nice rum, Florida Caña especially.
Yeah.
And it's so good. It's so
Really?
good. Oh, it's tasty. It'll get you really wired though. You have to be careful.
That sounds good to me.
It's a unique combination.
I love caffeine. I drink a lot of caffeine throughout the day.
Oh yeah, so do I, and that's what I do drink. I drink caffeine, and now decaf has gotten so much better that I've started drinking decaf in the evening.
I find decaf weird to me. It feels sacrilegious almost. Is that weird?
I always grew up thinking it was sacrilegious. I'm breaking the rules now. As a roaster, I would always sample it, but I was like, I'll sample it, but that's it. Now I'm starting to drink it, and I'm starting to find a pace with it, and I love it. And that's one of the things I like about with these coffees. But going back in a minute, I'll mention. We'll talk about Truista shortly. Yes, but the thing about the labs, this is why it was so important to me when getting into farming and doing the cannabinoid hemp, learning what really is in the soil. And then I have a farm. We have a farm partnership in Yuma, Arizona, where we're starting to get into ancient grains and cannabinoid hemp as well. We're still growing there. The stories I hear too, being in the farm community about stuff that's in vegetables and even stuff that isn't covered under organic certification.
Yep.
I always said, if we do a coffee, when Jason and I were talking about this and he said third-party lab COAs, I thought, I've never heard anyone say that.
For coffee.
And I've always thought it, and I always said that's when I would jump back in, and that's where he caught my interest.
Got it.
He was big on that, and I told him, I said, when he started doing this, he was getting frustrated because he was going to all these different roasteries, and none of them could answer questions about acrylamide levels, about what's really in their coffee, and he got the sense that he's getting different mixed messages, and he got the sense that he's like, Joey, he asked me, he said, with these larger roasters, do you really know what you're getting?
Do they even know? Does the roaster even know?
They know. They know.
They do know.
And some of them, look, the white label, I hope it does well, and God bless those roasteries and all this stuff, but it's not for us.
Got it.
We're all about, you have to know what you're drinking. And that's what I told him. I said, Jason, if I'm going to get involved, we have to control the entire value chain from the seed. So that starts with the relationships. And that's been my whole life.
From the coffee farmers.
From the coffee farmers. Okay. And that's been my whole life, is doing that. It's not fun to not do that anyway.
Sure.
So it's fun, it's practical, and it's critical because you've got to know what you're buying. I've seen, here's some extreme examples. I've seen soybeans being mixed in with coffee in wholesale. Now this is more like real commodity roasting, right?
Talking like the Folgers.
That level. You might see in these big value.
We're not going to call out Folgers. Sorry.
Yeah. No, we didn't say Folgers.
Lawsuit coming. Shit.
I didn't say Folgers.
You did not say anything. I said it. It's okay.
Right. So you don't really know what's here. The other thing is, it just never ends, the stuff that can happen. And there's a lot of fraud, like any other business in coffee.
Of course, yeah.
And you're dealing with something that's certified in these developing countries. So you don't know what the state is of that country at the time. I can give you a few other examples. We had a coffee once that we bought back when I was a younger roaster. We bought quite a few bags of this coffee, and it was a women's cooperative from Colombia, and it sounded great. It checked all the boxes.
Cool.
Until we figured out that there were no women involved. It was fraudulent, and the company just disappeared.
Interesting.
So, right. So now I told Jason some of these roasteries he was looking at. One of them was involved in a lawsuit with Hawaii. The Hawaii coffee farmers were suing. There's a big lawsuit. You can Google it.
Were they claiming that it was Hawaiian coffee and it wasn't, kind of thing?
Correct.
Got it.
And I've seen that movie before. That was in the 90s that happened. There was a company called Kona Kai Coffee, and they were putting Costa Rican coffees in there. Everything but Kona. I think the guy's still in jail. I think he had 20 years for that.
Wow.
Yes.
For that.
They take it very seriously.
Coffee's serious. Well, it's kind of like how people, the Manuka honey thing. I'm in part of a Manuka honey business.
Oh, so it's a similar thing. You don't really know.
No. If you're going to have Manuka honey specifically, Manuka honey is only in New Zealand because the Manuka plant's only in New Zealand. Oh, okay. That type of and that Manuka flower with the bees get the pollen from. That's how Manuka honey is made, and it's like a 2 to 3 week window a year. Wow, that's why it's in such low. it's in such low volume and it's so expensive.
So that's where the scarcity comes from. That window.
The scarcity comes from the window. And if it's too wet, if it's too rainy during that time, I was there right when the Manuka flowers are starting to blossom.
Oh, no kidding.
So
fascinating.
Super
cool.
Are
they white? I mean, are they? What
So they're basically bushes. They look like bushes.
Okay, and this smells like jasmine, or
I didn't really notice an odor. We were up on the mountains, and it was a little chilly up on the mountains.
Windy too. So
So really, but the bees were super cool. They were very chill,
like mellow bees.
Everybody was cool.
No kidding.
I didn't wear the bee protective gear or anything. I'm grabbing the bees by hand. But I mean, it sounds like coffee, and there's kind of similarities where you can't really screw around with what you're saying.
Right. And don't you see? Yes, absolutely. And you probably saw firsthand the value of actually going there and knowing firsthand what you're getting.
Seeing the actual production, seeing the bees, I would love to go to a coffee farm. Maybe I'll come visit the coffee farm.
Yeah, well, you were more than welcome. There's so many farms.
That'd be
they're
super
so
cool.
fun to visit. And the thing is, one of the reasons why it's great to be involved on the ground level is you want to sort of get involved in their whole ethos in a sense.
Sure.
You want to do that's where I got involved with the cannabinoid hemp. It gets frustrating because coffee is kind of a poverty crop for so many of these farmers. They just don't make enough money. There's very few countries where I've seen where there's a sense of wealth with coffee.
Got it.
Brazil is one of them. You go to Brazil.
I was going to ask, like, when it comes to coffee, people say like, oh, this is Colombian coffee, this is Brazilian coffee, Hawaiian coffee. I forgot, there's something in Africa as well, correct?
Oh yeah. We get coffee from Kenya, from Uganda, Ethiopia.
So where is, and I don't want to single anybody out, but I'm like, where is the best coffee, or does that depend on your taste?
It does, and it depends on your taste. And so the answer is, my favorite afternoon 2:00 in the afternoon coffee is probably an Ethiopian.
It's 2:20.
Okay,
it's 2:20. We're gonna need to make some coffee.
Perfect segue. Well, okay. So speaking of the coffee,
yeah. Tell me about Truista real quick.
Okay, so here's the thing with the coffee. So one of the things is that all of these bags, every single one of these bags, has a roast date, so you know when we roasted it, and that plays into a wide range of factors. It's very helpful to know that that you're getting something fresh, but you also know when the proper time to drink that coffee is to get the optimal experience.
Okay.
Right? But most importantly, we have a roast ID stamped to the back of the bag. So the beans that are in your hand are linked directly to third-party lab test results for metals, for mycotoxins, for molds, for pesticides, for herbicides.
Which is a major problem in coffee. Mold especially, I hear, is a huge issue, correct?
It can be, yes, absolutely. It's when you're buying specialty coffee, you're more protected because specialty coffee by the definition of specialty coffee is 0 primary defects or 5 or less secondary defects. Mold is considered a primary defect.
Okay.
So a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm buying specialty coffee. I already have the assurance that it's mold free." That's right, but that's also wrong because here's why. So yes, when it leaves origin, it is tested for mold, and if it's above 13%, it's not shipped. The problem isn't necessarily when you're buying that level of coffee. The problem isn't at the origin. The problem is in transit. There's way too many things you can't control. Is there a puncture in the shipping container?
Got it.
And that moisture gets in, and then you have problems.
Mold's going to happen.
And that's where the ochratoxin kicks in. There's aflatoxin, but ochratoxin is the bigger issue. It's more prevalent in coffee.
Okay.
For the most part, I always say this: like most specialty coffee, you're going to be okay, but it's that 10% of the time that you're not. So you don't know what you're drinking, and you're drinking coffee every day. So I don't want to mess with it. I want to know that there's no mycotoxins in the coffee. I don't want to subscribe to an acceptable limit. Yeah,
well, I'm big on what I put in my body, from the quality of the water to the quality of food. I mean, I go into the quality of my meat. Where's my meat coming from?
Yeah,
I don't really trust grocery stores.
Right.
I don't trust big food.
Exactly.
I more than likely don't trust big coffee either. You can see there's a tinfoil hat behind your.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that.
There's a reason for that. Yeah.
Yes, I like that.
So real quick, I mean, just looking from the front of this, and by the way, I love the trademark saying "the cleanest bean the world has seen."
Yes, that was Jason's trademark. That was his idea, and I thought it's spectacular. It's a perfect idea because that's exactly what it is, and I do believe it really is the cleanest bean the world has ever seen.
And what it says right on here: organic, farm direct, mold and mycotoxin free, low acid. Non-detectable, how do you say that? Acrylamide?
Acrylamide, right.
Non-detectable acrylamide. I'm going to have you explain that to me for
Yes.
a second. And then lab certified, which is super cool.
Yes, and third-party lab certified. So it's not like we have our own labs.
And you can fudge the details.
Exactly.
Okay.
And this lab was picked for a very specific reason. I had a relationship with them. They do a lot of environmental testing. They do a lot of cannabis testing.
Okay.
Some of those labs are the best because cannabis is very complex and environmental testing has very strict standards.
Got it.
These guys are really stand apart from any other lab. And I've worked with a lot of labs in their honesty and integrity and transparency and pushing for legislation. For example, glyphosate has not normally tested in labs.
Huge problem.
They test for glyphosate.
Really?
So,
I mean, the glyphosate flour in this country, everybody thinks they have a, gluten insensitivity?
yes.
And it's actually not gluten at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I discovered that with RFK, pointed that out.
Yeah.
And
I noticed it when I've traveled to Europe. I mean, you travel over the world. You're very well traveled.
Yes, in Europe, it is. You can eat pasta and you feel fine.
You can eat bread. Well, I can eat bread everywhere all over the world. I can eat a loaf of bread every day, and I'm not getting fat. I'm like, why did I get leaner? Why did I lose weight?
Yeah, it really makes you wonder.
I eat a loaf of bread here. Thank goodness my mother knows how to cook very well, and my mother makes fresh bread all the time. She just brought me 2 loaves actually.
Oh, right.
She makes her own sourdough, has her
nice.
own sourdough starter and everything like that. And but I know her flour is good. She's buying flour from overseas.
Right.
And my family's all. I'm 100% Croatian.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
The
okay.
Tomislav Marjanovic part kind of gives it away.
Yeah, I figured it was Croatian maybe or somewhere like that.
That Bosnian, Croatian, Serbian area.
Right. Yeah. So no, we went to Trieste, Italy, which is where Ili Cafe is.
Yeah.
And kind of close.
It's
pretty close.
very close. It's very close. Yeah, Croatia and Italy are right there. They border each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
So but fascinating. That's a company that on a large scale they do a very good job.
So that's one that you do give commendation to.
I do. I respect them tremendously.
Amazing.
It's a different model, and they're at such a large scale.
Sure.
For our company, we're taking advantage of the fact that we're a smaller company. We are scalable, so that we can grow exponentially. We're taking a different angle. We're really focused on there's some differentiation in our profiles, and I can go all day long on that. I love the way the coffee tastes, but we start with this: know what you're drinking and be able to verify it. And that's why that roast idea is so important, and being able to see the labs. Most of these things, the things that really, for me, the acrylamide, the pesticides, those are big ones, the mycotoxins.
Yep.
We do metals panels. To be honest, coffee is not a big issue with metals.
Yeah, I would say it's probably coming from the water.
Right, yeah. I mean, the metals, the thing is, you're not going to get really a lot with metals, but we test anyway because a lot of people are concerned about cocoa. There's so much in that, and they think that coffee would have it too. So we don't want to just say, oh, trust us, coffee doesn't have
That makes sense.
a ton of metals. So here are the panels. Look for yourself. And it's kind of like what you're saying with the grocery store. We don't expect everyone to trust us right away. So verify. We'll earn your trust over time. And
I love that.
So that's what we want to do by sort of creating these close touch relationships at the farm level and sort of introduce the viewers to the farmers. And there's a whole storyline there. And that's what makes it fun.
It's beautiful, man. So I know. So coffee snobs may hate us. I hear they might not like. I don't know if French presses are good, but I know the metal grinder is not good.
Yes, we talked about this. The blade grinder.
The blade grinder.
Okay.
Sorry.
So look, here's the thing. Coffee has changed so much since I've been in the industry. It's been 32 years now.
Yeah.
And we've gone through I started in the second wave, third wave. Now we're in confusing. Some people call it the fourth wave. In a nutshell, I think coffee needs to be approachable. It needs to be less pretentious. It needs to be fun.
Yeah.
People don't need to feel vilified for wanting their coffee a certain way.
Sure.
The number of people that have...
Unless you go to, and I will call them out because I had before, unless you go to Starbucks and you get their burnt shitty coffee and it's filled with a bunch of poison, sugars and all these fake sugars and all these flavors. Jesus.
I know, this stuff it can be pretty gnarly.
And then let's add in, let's put it into by the way, let's put it into a paper cup. I'm saying this with big air quotes on purpose.
The cup thing creeps me out. Like I didn't realize the cup thing until like about a year ago.
The microplastic load that you get from putting hot coffee into that paper, aka plastic cup, because if the paper is coated in plastic.
Yeah,
the only reason the paper
as
is
of recently, I'm aware. Yes, but
the microplastic load that you drink from that is astronomical. It's you could drink like literally 50 bottles of water in plastic bottles, and you'll have less microplastics than 1 cup of coffee.
Well, I didn't realize it was that bad.
It's bad.
because when you go to these coffee, that message has not gotten to the coffee shop level yet. Even small mom and pop shops, I'll have it such and such in a for here mug, please. And usually a third of the time they forget.
Yep.
And could you please just pour it in a mug?
This is so funny. We were getting coffee in Mexico. Remember, Gary? And I'm like, can I get a normal cup? They brewed it in a paper cup and then put it in the normal cup for me. I'm like, you defeated the purpose of what I was trying to do, but I really want coffee, so I guess I'm just going to eat some credit card right now.
Yeah,
is what I'm going to do.
Just get it over with. Eat the whole credit card now.
Well, my whole point is, the metal grinder, coffee purists maybe won't like that, and then the water temperature is another huge one that I know people are like, you should brew coffee at this water temperature, and I want to make sure it's still hot. So Alejandro, I might have you go put this back on the cooker to get it super hot.
So there's validity to all those points. Like the grind is really, really, really important.
Thank you so much.
But that said, I wouldn't want to discourage someone from getting a blade grinder as a starting point because it helps you learn what the grind is. My son started doing espresso on one of these things and he learned a lot. Now he's using a sophisticated burr grinder and he sort of started off with,
what's a burr grinder? Explain.
So a burr grinder is just basically two circular discs.
Okay.
They're cut at a concave and they crush the beans.
So they grind it a little bit more
evenly.
Okay,
and there's all different designs. There's concave, there's flat burrs, there's concave burrs, there's titanium. It goes on like anything else.
Got it.
It goes on and on and on.
You can get real in the weeds with this.
You can get in the weeds, and it does reward you, and you can get more from the coffee. You can also go too far with it and it's kind of silly after a while sometimes, like anything, but.
And I've seen people like tasting the coffee like it's wine. You know what I mean?
Yes, and you can do that.
I heard that. I heard the flavor profiles can get really crazy. But let's talk about the four that we have here, because I want to know which one we're going to drink.
Okay, good. So starting with a quick thing on why the blade grinders are tricky is because you don't get a consistent grind, and if you don't get a consistent grind, you get an unbalanced extraction. So you may get too much of one thing, not enough of another.
Understood.
So that's kind of the nutshell of it.
So we're going to do our best
today. Now, French press, I love. It's one of my favorite ways to brew coffee.
Okay.
To me, there's a thing called the coffee colloids. Coffee colloids. It's like, imagine clouds, like clouds in the air, water vapor clouds.
Okay.
Imagine vapors of coffee oils and different compounds. You get those colloids in a French press that filters block out.
Understood.
So people talk about diterpenes, like cholesterol, and you may hear about that.
Sure.
It's a similar, like people talk about diterpenes. I always think of them as colloids. It's kind of similar.
Okay.
But it's oil. I'm not overly concerned with the cholesterol thing. So if you are, maybe pay attention to that. I don't know.
You don't want to know my take on cholesterol.
I think you're going to say that 300 cholesterol is actually not so bad.
It's actually, that used to be the optimal level.
Interesting.
Did you ever see that study?
I glazed a few things enough to know that 320 and maybe not so bad. I'm in the twos, but
should we get that tinfoil hat out now? So hear this shit. Okay, so this is crazy. When a lot of the cholesterol medications started being developed, the big pharma companies that were developing these cholesterol medications, and obviously we all know that big pharma and big medicine are wholly tied.
Really? What? No, I'm kidding.
You don't say.
You don't say.
Yeah, so they're wholly tied. By the way, if anybody didn't know that.
Yeah, now you know.
It's the truth.
It's true. Yeah.
When they started coming out with these cholesterol medications, they started lowering the desired cholesterol score, the danger limit. So it used to be 300, then they lowered it to 250, then they lowered it to 200.
Oh, so it was officially 300 at one point?
At one point.
Was that back in like the 50s?
It was when with these cholesterol, like, all these, I don't know exactly which ones were coming out at that point, but when they started doing these, they're like, well, if we lower the limits of the cholesterol, then we can sell more cholesterol medications. I mean, they tried to give my grandmother cholesterol medication, not because her cholesterol was dramatically high. She's 84 years old right now. And they said, because your age, we suggest you get on cholesterol medication. I'm like, what does that mean?
What is that? How does that correlation work?
It doesn't.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, so bring forth the diterpenes then.
Yeah, let's bring them on. I mean, my cholesterol is probably, it stays in the low 200s, but a cholesterol level at 300, not so many decades ago, was absolutely fine. And they're finding out what the blue zones are? The places
I do not know what the blue zones are.
So blue zones in the world are like where the longest living people are.
Oh, yes, I'm familiar with that.
Yeah,
so
Japan,
like in the Mediterranean and Japan.
So Japan, and there's places in Italy. There's a certain tribe in Africa that's a blue zone. By the way, all these people have significantly different diets. Some are only eating mostly meat and they're drinking blood of animals.
The Maasai tribe?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
So those areas, they have a very high life expectancy. And then you go into Italy and they're mostly Mediterranean diet. And then you go into Japan and they're really not eating much meat at all. And they're eating, you know, a lot of rice, a lot of carbohydrates. They're eating a lot of vegetables. Some of them, there's other blue zone areas that are mostly vegetarian. So it's like there's no dietary correlation.
That's
so what's the correlation? The correlation is the absence of processing, the absence of added chemicals from the processing facilities and everything like that. So they're eating real food. And also they're finding out that most of these areas have higher than normal cholesterol, big air quotes, higher than normal cholesterol levels. And they're living longer. Interesting.
When the scales come off.
Interesting.
When the scales come off your eyes, it's like, it's a whole nother thing.
So while this is still hot, I'm gonna have you pick a coffee.
Okay, yeah,
and we're
I'll
gonna
pick a
drink
coffee,
it. We'll grind
and
it.
I will have to mention, because we mentioned the Maasai, and I actually had the opportunity in one of our episodes in Kenya where we brewed coffee for the Maasai, and they'd never tried it. This entire tribe. It was
how cool.
It was a trip. They didn't really like it, to be honest with you. They loved the smell, but they were like, "Whoa, it's a lot for them."
Yeah, it's a lot for them. So we have a scale in front of you too. So because we're gonna weigh it as well.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna weigh it on here.
You'll weigh it on here. Okay.
Yeah. Well, let me think. I'll weigh it on this. I'll tear this.
Okay, I can get you. I can put a cup on there. Whatever you want.
This is perfect. So I'm gonna use my reading glasses here, and
those are his coffee glasses, by the way.
Yeah,
this is not his reading glasses. He doesn't need reading glasses. He's too young for that.
Way too young for that. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to decide which coffee, and I'm going to explain these coffees briefly for you.
Wonderful.
Okay, we mentioned the roast type in the coffee, but we try to get away from that because I feel like there's a big disconnect between roast type and what you're drinking. Sometimes a light roast could be a bright lemony coffee, or it could be a deep chocolatey coffee with no brightness at all.
Okay.
So when I use the word light roast and you're expecting one of those two and you get the opposite, you're confused.
So the light roast and dark roast doesn't have anything to actually do with the color necessarily, or does it?
Well, it's the color of roast, but my point is that in a light roast, you can get two completely different flavor profiles. Now, with the dark roast is the exception. Dark roast is kind of what it sounds like. You know, it's roasty and smoky and spicy.
Sure.
Ours is not smoky because we're trying to avoid the PAHs, the paracyclic anaerobic hydrocarbons.
Okay.
So aromatics, hydrocarbons. Basically, they're not good for you. They damage mitochondria, that kind of thing.
Okay. So we don't want that.
We don't want that. So now what we have here is this is espresso masaba. So this is better in an espresso machine.
Okay. So we'll avoid that one for this.
We'll avoid that one. Yeah. It makes a decent coffee, but it's not optimal for coffee. It's optimal for espresso extraction.
I love espresso.
High pressure extraction, as you know, right? This one is probably, if you really like a deep, heavy body. You know, that's what we focus on with our coffees. We really like a body-driven coffee, something that's just hearty and it's just full and nutty and chocolate and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
This is a really nice coffee. It's got a very almondine characteristic, and you will pick up that in the back end.
Very cool.
Brown spice, think nutmeg, cinnamon, and then a really nice chocolate. We use a Ugandan coffee in here that gives it this malty, heavy body chocolate. When I discovered this Ugandan coffee recently, I was like, whoa, this is the nicest, this is the most body-driven coffee I'd ever had, short of Bolivia, which you can't get those anymore in Bolivia. You cannot get that profile. I cannot find that profile in Bolivia. And I was kind of sad because
something happened to the soil or something, or is it a climate?
Two different things. One is the Bolivian, a lot of people stopped importing Bolivian coffee because they kept sending you the sample, and then what they shipped was not the same.
Got it.
So that was the first problem.
Quality issue.
Got it. Then they started playing towards the acid floral profile, which is fine, and I love those coffees, but that's not their strength. And that's a big part of what we do. We try to find coffees that, what's their strength? You know? So, and that's the beauty of blending, is you can take the strengths and combine them and create sort of a symphony. Something that I love the metaphor of music with blending, because it really plays out. Acidity is the brass, for example, that, acidity being that tart, tangy sort of citric acid play.
Sure.
So anyway, getting to the point, we have two choices for you here. We have a bold French roast, not smoky, but very full, very almost like a mahogany cedar on the back end. You're going to pick up some brown spice.
I'm a cigar guy, so
cigar guy might be the move.
You're talking my language. I had a cigar earlier. I might have one after this as well.
Okay, excellent. You want to try that one, or Rich Awakening? So let's try this dark one.
You want to try that one?
Let's do the dark one, and then you can try this one later.
Perfect.
One of the things I have to say about this,
and what's the other? What's the fourth one? What's the other one back there?
Okay, now very important. Balanced Awakening. I love this coffee.
Okay.
For me, I buy all 4 and I drink them all at different times of the day or for different occasions.
Okay.
And
because the flavor profile is different and the way they react to you is different. And
Absolutely.
I mean, they're usually, they can be paired with different foods. And I'm assuming this bolder one, which one is this? The Bold Awakening. I'm assuming that one is going to be my one that I would pair with a cigar, with a robust cigar.
Absolutely. It's perfect. I mean, Rich Awakening would be good, but this is the better choice for a cigar.
Got it.
So we're going to take 60 grams of this.
60 grams,
coffee.
okay.
And
these are
let's put
whole
on my coffee
bean.
glasses.
These are whole bean. Yeah, your coffee glasses.
Yes. Thank you. These are whole beans. So we're going to grind this. And I'm going to show you a technique with the blade grinder. Again, the thing that's good about a blade grinder is they're $20. And you know, if you go on vacation, you're in an Airbnb and there's,
that
what are you
smells
going
good.
to do?
Can I have a whiff of that real quick? Because I
we go.
smelled that from here.
Yeah, see? There's
Wow, and look at these beans. I'm going to grab one out of here.
Yes.
So that is super dark, and I'll let you do your magic over here with the weighing and everything like that. I hope that scale works. You know what's funny?
so.
When I was a kid, I'd go to the grocery store with my mother, and I was pretty young, and I would grab coffee beans out of the little coffee bean dispensers. We're talking old school grocery stores, talking like 20 years.
Yeah, I remember
30
those
years
days.
ago.
Oh,
Probably.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know, I'm maybe 7 to 10 years old, and I would eat the coffee beans.
Really?
I'd actually eat them.
Did it get you pretty wired?
You know, I don't remember. I can't believe, you know, it didn't stunt my growth clearly. Or maybe I should have been 6'5". The stunting growth thing is probably a big misnomer.
Yeah, maybe that would. Okay, so
We
just
lost
barely,
one bean. You want to put one in here?
Tragic. Oh, we can't
There we
lose
go.
a bean.
Listen,
Okay.
that was measured with coffee glasses,
Actually, you'll notice it just barely fits the top.
which is perfect.
Yeah, and these blade grinders, oftentimes, the very top is about 2 ounces. And
Okay.
You can kind of,
So maybe that probably is measured for a reason.
yeah, I think
It probably says that in the instructions.
Yes, it probably does. And here's the funny thing, and this is an important point
I'm going
to
to eat
note.
this coffee bean.
Now, do you brew on a regular brewer at home sometimes? Just a regular
I actually
dripper?
don't drink coffee at home
Okay, all right.
because I don't trust the coffee companies.
Ah, yes, good reason. I understand that.
So I'll go to a place like next door, London House, is a private members club. Wow, that is so rich. I just took a bite of that coffee bean.
Ah, good. Okay. Yeah, it would be really good with chocolate. Put some chocolate in there.
Wow, that is so good.
So this, when you, okay, I'm going to grind this.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Now this is kind of like, one thing I want to mention about the brewers is they're generally designed for 2 ounces for a 8 ounce, or really for a 12 ounce brew pot.
Okay.
Way too weak. So I always recommend you do almost 2, I do 2 of these for a 8 cups, which is really kind of gold cup standard.
Well, I think this should only be about 4 cups.
Exactly. So this is perfect.
This is good.
So
Okay.
if we were doing a brewer, a traditional 12-cup brewer, I would only fill it to 8 cups, and I would do about 2 of these.
People make coffee
Phil?
too weak in this country.
Exactly.
I'm sorry to tell you that. I'm sorry, America. I
you're
love
missing
that.
out.
Yeah.
They're missing out.
You're missing the flavor.
So
this
much
might get a little
better.
loud, so please bear
Now-
with us. Yeah.
The caveat to that, though, is if you have a brewer that doesn't, and we talked about temperature, and I'm going to hurry up because it's going to cool off.
Yeah, all good.
But if you have, most brewers only go to 190 degrees. You need at least 200 degrees to get the proper extraction.
I don't know how hot this is.
I think that's going to be okay for French press. I think we're
Okay,
going to do it.
okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and what I do is with this is I shake it, and you have to shake it. you
Okay.
know? It seems a little ridiculous, but you sort of have to shake it.
You gotta mix it in a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's a little extra work, and it's not going to be even, but you know what? We're going to have some fun with this.
It's gonna be fine.
good.
We're gonna-
yeah, it's forgiving.
We're drinking good coffee, so it can't be that bad.
No, exactly. No, it'll
Yeah.
be very good. It'll just okay. Here we go.
We'll see how this is gonna work.
Yes.
That's a little
See if I
full.
can- what are the odds I spill no grounds? Anyone?
I'm
What do
gonna.
you think?
What's Polymarket? Are we gonna do Polymarket bet on this?
yeah. I'm not sure I'm betting with me. Though. I'm gonna bet. I may bet against myself. No, let's go. Here we go. Oh yeah, I got it.
Someone would have won some money. I think you got it all
Oh,
in
I
there.
did. Okay, so nice thing to do is shake it and smell.
Okay.
And you can pick up some of that mahogany. Speaking of cigars,
Wow, that is I actually have chills.
I like it. Coffee chills.
I have chills. I have coffee chills. That's incredible.
So this coffee, I had the opportunity, went down to Honduras to a cigar factory tour once with Corona Cigar.
Oh, yeah,
These
yeah,
guys.
yeah, right across the street.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
awesome.
Jeff. The owner was a guy named Jeff. We stayed at Rocky Patel's house.
Okay.
And it was
Rocky Patel's house. How cool. I met him.
it was very cool.
I met him in Miami. He's awesome.
Did you
guy.
really?
Yeah.
man,
at a cigar event.
No kidding.
Here, I'll let you do the honors with the pour.
We actually I went into my room and there was a big Arakan, big scorpion on the bed. It's my one memory of Rocky Patel's house. Beautiful place though. Anyway, my point on that is that we went in and we saw them making cigar boxes, and they were cutting all the wood, and it smelled like coffee often smells. That fresh cut wood,
Sure.
cedar, mahogany.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
This all the humidors are made of cedar, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're all cedar lined.
And so now I pour a little bit, I let it bloom for, about 20, 30 seconds.
Okay.
And just sort of let the pores open up in the coffee.
Now, can you have the water too hot? I know you can have it probably too cold.
Normally what I do is I'll boil it, wait for about 40 to 60 seconds and let it cool off a little. So
Got
yes,
it.
the answer is
so
you can't
not
have it
so
too
not
hot.
really boiling, but just under that.
Right. So you just want it under boiling. And so you're
And that
going
was
to be
boiling when we got it in here, so that might be all right.
I think we're all right. So you want to be around 201 to 203.
Okay.
Most espresso machines are set to that. You can adjust the newer machines. You can adjust the temperature, which is nice.
Okay.
Now there are more complex techniques. I'm trying to keep it simple. There's a technique where you can fill it halfway and yada yada.
Sure.
I'm keeping this kind of simple for now. And what I'm going to do is, do you have a spoon or something that we can?
We probably do. Could you grab a spoon out of that kitchen over there?
There's two different ways that
This coffee smells delicious. You can have some? Can you grab a cup for Gary too?
Actually, there are three different ways I brew a French press. I'm doing the quick and simple camping version.
Got it.
And that's where what I do is I take a spoon and I just push it down.
Camping coffee's the best, man.
It is the best.
Over the fire?
Yes. Oh my gosh, the old cowboy pots.
That's the best.
One time I went off for 3 weeks out off grid camping.
Yeah.
And I brought just one of the
Perfect.
One of
and
the
then if
dumbest-
you want to grab a cup for Gary, if you want a cup yourself, yeah.
one of the
Here's a
dumbest
spoon for
things
you.
I ever did. I'm going to show you
Okay.
this because you
All
can
right,
enjoy
perfect.
the smell.
Yeah. I can smell it from here.
When you get your nose, before you penetrate that, get your nose right above it and then penetrate the crust with the spoon. Just push the crust down and smell. And that's how you can really pick up what we call the wet aroma.
Oh, got chills again.
Yeah, see?
It's the coffee chills,
They're going
man.
around.
That's amazing. All right, so I'm just going to push this.
Push it all down.
Push this
and
all
then we'll
down.
put the lid on. And normally we'd be timing this.
Okay.
And I'm going off my mind. I think we've burned a minute. So I think we do another three minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, you just put it over here. Yeah, thank you.
Now we have we're going to start carrying what we call the Espro French press. It's fantastic. It has a double filter mechanism in the French press, because a lot of times with the traditional French press, what they do when you plunge this, I'm going to go off 3 minutes from now
Okay.
because we've been here for about a minute.
Should we set a timer?
Can we?
We can.
I imagine there's a timer.
Hey Siri,
amidst-
can you set a 3-minute timer, please? I don't think that worked.
I can do it on mine, the old-fashioned way. Okay, I'm going to do it now or a little less time. So I'm going to do,
2.5 minutes, yeah.
yeah, I'm just going to do.
And now we don't push this down yet.
We don't. We wait until the end. We wait until about 2.5 minutes. Then we're going to push it down, and then we're going to drink the coffee. The Espro, what it does is it has a double basket, and you can actually, if you want to, you can put a paper filter in there. If you don't want,
Okay.
because sometimes people don't want all the colloids and stuff because it does get you more wired. You know,
Which is exactly what I want.
so it's, you don't want the filter.
Well, I love, so I'm, my family's in Bosnia.
Okay, right, yeah.
We're Croatian, but my dad lives in Bosnia, not too far outside Sarajevo. And I've been to, here, I'll put this over here.
Oh, well, one thing I do also is we don't need to do it on this one. You got
Sure, got it.
it. Is I always try to preheat the cup. It's such a nice touch.
Oh.
But it's okay. We don't have to complicate it with this. But in the future, it's such a nice touch to preheat the cup if you've got some extra water in there.
So when I was in Mostar. You know Mostar?
I've never been. No.
So it's beautiful. It has the old bridge in there, and it's an old Turkish compound, basically. I mean, the bridge is super old. The whole city's super old. The stones are so slick that if it rains, you literally slide. Doesn't matter what kind of shoes you have on.
Wow,
They're
really?
so worn from all the people going in there.
Wow.
But
Like
they make
polished kind of?
Oh yeah, but they make Turkish coffee.
Oh,
And
really?
you know Turkish coffee with the grinds that are in it.
Yes.
I mean, me and Gary drink Turkish coffee all the time
Do you
across
really?
the street. Oh yeah.
Oh man, we did an episode in Turkey with that, and we
love-
hunted down the
I
age.
love Turkish
Oh
coffee.
man, it was so fun. We recreated what we believed would have been the age-old Turkish coffee, which would have been
Sure.
probably an Ethiopian variety that was grown in the Arab Peninsula.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I love it too, and it's done the right way. So good. I have a really nice chesve at home that I got in Turkey.
Oh, yeah.
Fabulous. So we've
Yeah,
got.
he calls it a shezva. We call it jezva.
Do you do?
Yeah,
Okay,
jezva
all right.
in
Yes.
Croatian. So yeah, and I mean, you make it right on the stove. You get it right to that boiling point. You do a couple spoons. It's so good. I love
that.
Turkish
That'll
coffee.
get you wired. I mean,
Oh
that's-
yeah,
so-
you drink. I mean, when I'm in Europe, I drink. And I was in Istanbul a year and a half ago, And man, I'll tell you what, I drank no less than maybe 7 to 8 cups of coffee a day.
Oh, I can see that there.
And it was the Turkish coffee, and that shit's it's lightning.
Oh, it is. Next time if you go, let me know. I'll give you a list of some coffee shops to visit.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
So I love it. The whole history of coffee in the Arab world, starting with the Ottomans and Vienna, the siege of Vienna.
Where did coffee really come from? Or did it bloom everywhere?
Well, it's indigenous. There's different varieties. So there's not just, of course, Arabica. Now, all these coffees, by the way, are Arabica. We don't do
These are all from the Americas.
No, they're from Indonesia. We have, say, Sumatra, Eastern Africa, and then the Americas.
So what is Arabica coffee? What does that specifically mean?
So basically, Robusta coffee has twice as much caffeine.
Okay.
It's low elevation coffee. It's totally a different profile. It has a lot more chlorogenic acid, but it's also, because of the chlorogenic acid, it's one of the reasons it's very bitter.
Got it.
Another reason why it has an off taste is, there are higher quality Robustas, which means they're screened but they're rare. I mean, most Robustas are just down and dirty, down and dirty, high caffeine coffees. They're grown more at a lower elevation, as I said before. The Arabica coffees originated in Ethiopia, and that's the sort of the mothership for coffee. That's where it all started, and what happened was in 525 AD, the Oromo warriors never left Ethiopia to invade, but they did it. I believe it was at the behest of Constantine. If I have my timing right. They went to raid the Arab Peninsula, and they conquered it and took over. And that's where coffee started getting planted in the Arab Peninsula, which then became the port of Mocha. And the Arabs were, big on coffee at that time. It really stemmed from Ethiopia, and then they put it into the Arab Peninsula. Yes, and the Oromo warriors would take the coffee cherries and they would make like energy balls with fat and coffee cherries, and they would travel and they would eat the coffee cherries, and they would eat them. And most people think that the roasted coffee came from really the Arabs, but the Ethiopians will tell you that they were roasting coffee from forest fires. That's how they discovered it. Forest fires, and they would smell it. But at the same time, you're having the coffees in the Americas as well. Yes. Or were they? It was native here, obviously. Well, no, it wasn't native here. What happened was there's a very interesting story that plays into all this. I'm just trying to say do we know the root origin of where the? Okay, that's so. What I'm there's asking. A guy named Declue. He's a French guy. I believe he's French, and he got his hands on. He stole a plant from the gardens in France, essentially from the royal gardens, awesome. Jardin de Paris. Yeah. And he brought them on a ship. It's a whole thing. He brought them on a ship to, I think it was French Guiana. It was one of the Guianas. No, Martinique. He brought him on a ship to Martinique, and there's a whole story. The ship at one point had been raided by pirates. Mm-hmm. There was a doldrums. They almost died. He had limited water, and he shared his water with these coffee seedlings. And lo and behold, a handful of them survived, and that began the proliferation of coffee in the Americas. Wow. There's a whole story there. So the Colombian coffees, the Brazilian coffee, none of that's actually native. No, it all came from Declue, and it all started in the Arab Peninsula. The Dutch were big on coffee, and they started, one of the first countries besides the Arab Peninsula was Java. And they started growing coffee in Java, and they started growing it in the Indonesian areas. They grew it in Ceylon, and then it became more tea when the British took over. Sure. The coffee has a whole story. It was in coffee shops. There were 2,000 coffee houses in London, and so really the African and Middle Eastern peninsulas over there, like that's where coffee started. Exactly. Yes, that's amazing. Right. Yeah, and the culture. Are we ready for this? Yes, I think we're way past. Actually. Way past. That's okay. That's okay though. We're going to forgive ourselves. You're going to have some over extraction with this. Sure. So try it again later when there's not as much distraction. I'm not that much of a coffee snob. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. But it's going to be, so I'll tell you what you're going to notice. Do you want me to tell you what to look for, or do you want to try it? And then I guarantee I'm not going to be able to pick up on the notes. So you're going to educate me. So what I find is, then we'll pass this over here so they can have a cup as well. Yes, we must share the. Do we have to share the coffee experience? Yeah. Okay, maybe they'll get the coffee chills too. That's what we want. I mean, smelling that was incredible. Okay, so now here's what I always tell people. People apologize to me. I drink my coffee with cream. I may not be a real coffee. I was gonna ask you that. So please come grab your coffee, I do Gary both Alejandro. Ways. I try it, but I'm mostly a black coffee drinker Monday through Friday. But it's fun to try a little cream. When you design the coffees the right way, the cream stays on your palate longer. Got it. And you can pick up some of these compounds for a longer period of time, and it brings different things to life. Okay. We have one coffee in particular, Rich Awakening. You put a little cream in there. The almond goes to amaretto. It's like a liqueur, and it's very noticeable. And you'll notice it in our espresso masaba as well.
Okay. Let's give this a try.
Who complements the nicotine.
I was going to say, yeah.
Is it a nicotine pouch that
It's
I
a
have?
nicotine pouch. Yeah,
Okay.
they're the Alp pouch, yeah.
I like it.
Thanks, Tucker Carlson.
Yes, exactly.
Cheers to him.
All right, cheers to your first coffee.
Thank you so much. This is
Okay, body.
This is excellent.
You pick up the body,
100%.
just it stays on your mouth. It's hearty. It's something that you just feel substantive.
But it doesn't taste burnt.
Right. Yes.
And the biggest problem that I have with coffee houses and the biggest problem that I have with coffee in general, especially when, we're just going to call it what it is. Dunkin' Donuts is not coffee. I'm sorry. It is what it is.
yes.
You know what I mean?
It's hard to know what you're getting.
I don't know what the hell I'm drinking when I go to, if I see Dunkin' Donuts, I have no clue what that is.
I can tell you what it is if you want.
We'll talk about it. Okay. When I go to Starbucks, you think of Starbucks as like the coffee house. Everybody knows what Starbucks is. They're everywhere. They're all over the world.
Yes.
And kudos to him from a business perspective for the
absolutely.
company. Bravo.
Yes.
As a businessman,
Yeah,
I'm like,
they did a great
you
job.
did a great job.
They really
whether or
did.
not you care, you care about their coffee or not, their coffee always tastes burnt to me.
It very much so.
Okay.
Their espresso is okay. Like I don't mind their espresso. It's the coffee that I have a hard time with.
Got it. Yeah. I don't really like their coffee. I tolerate their coffee.
Yes. And
I
sometimes
just drink it for the caffeine.
Yes, and I get stuck there. I've had people see me in the Starbucks before, and they're like, "Did I see you at Starbucks?" And usually I'm just drinking the tea. So
People are taking pictures of you like,
So
he was caught in
I
Starbucks.
really was in Starbucks. I had to have the caffeine. You can understand. So
Yeah, so
But,
this does not taste burnt. It's super robust. I would love to have a cigar right. I have my cigar lighter
would
right
too.
here. I mean, we got a cigar shop next door, or a cigar lounge next door, a private one. This would be excellent. I'm
very good with the cigar. This one for sure.
I'm gonna make London House and Drawing Room switch their coffee because this is what it's all about.
Yeah, I like
I mean,
it.
I had
There
them
you go.
switch their cooking oils recently.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah,
oh,
I'm
good
a
move. That's huge.
Big stickler with this.
Oh, yeah.
And they're using only beef tallow products to fry now.
Hey, that's a major accomplishment. You got them to do that. That's
They're
impressive.
awesome. This private club down here and this private cigar lounge, they're excellent at what they do. But I'm like, hey, you're missing the boat on this one. And ever since then, they make these French fries. And okay, I just did something on truffle oil, truffle oil is bullshit. By the way.
Really? Are you ruining truffle oil for me
Bullshit,
now?
bro.
Oh,
It's
did I fall into the bullshit trap?
We all did. Listen, I love truffle fries.
no.
But it's like,
Oh, man.
it's like there's some like toxic stuff in
Is
the,
it really?
yeah, in the truffle oil.
The
Truffle
whole
oils.
story though with the truffle and the dogs and
The
whole
truffles
thing.
are great. Truffle oil is not truffles. They're not even similar.
Really?
Yeah, most truffle oil doesn't even actually have real truffle in it.
So is there such a thing as truffle oil? Can you find the real stuff? Is it like wasabi?
Yeah, kind of. Wasabi
Like
as you
real
get it,
wasabi is like hard to find, and
it's expensive.
right.
Whenever
Or vanilla. you know?
whenever I go to a sushi restaurant, I'm like, "Do you have real wasabi?" Most of them say no. They don't
would
even
think.
have it.
I
It's,
imagine.
it's horseradish with green food coloring.
Yes, that's my understanding. And
Yeah.
we went to Japan, and that's where I learned a little bit what the wasabi.
Real wasabi
thing is.
has a taste to it. It's not just like hot to the mouth.
Right. It's not just in a.
It has a actual taste to it, and it's excellent. But wasabi root is very expensive.
Yeah. So now when you switched them over to it's so nice to have fries, like real fries, and you don't have to feel all gross about it. Did they catch on pretty quickly? I mean, did you have to give them a whole monologue, or did they?
They knew exactly what I was talking about.
They did,
Half
okay.
these guys follow my social media and podcasts.
Oh,
and stuff,
I see.
so
They're
you know what I mean?
aware. Yeah.
So they're
that
like,
makes sense.
fine, Tomo, fine. We need to change the whole oil thing and this and that. I'm like, sorry.
Yeah.
It's healthier.
Yeah,
You know?
right. I mean, that's so. Speaking to that, this coffee. One of the things is I used to go about 20 degrees darker. I had a blend that I used to do. I called it Dark Horse, and it was super smoky and hardcore.
Okay.
but man, all that smoke is just not good for you. I don't think it's a good idea.
Got it.
So it took a long time to engineer this in such a way that you could still enjoy it without that smokiness.
Okay.
So that was one of the keys to this. But I just like there's certain profiles. When we went into this blending process, it was all about what do we want in the coffee. And I think if you start with that, you say I want to have a mahogany or a cedar like back end. I want to have brown spice. I want to have.
Are you tailoring these beans? It's like from the farmer's perspective, because I don't really know how this works. Are they growing it in a certain way, or is there any like cross-pollination thing going on with, because like the first thing that I think of is cigars.
Right.
I'm a big cigar guy.
Yes.
So I'm like, why do Cuban cigars have that certain taste and profile and everything? And I love Cuban cigars.
They're so good.
I have a shitload of them. I have a ton of them in the other room.
So good.
Yeah. So, you have a Cuban cigar, but that has changed recently. I don't know if you knew, because that storm, it wrecked half the farmland.
I did not know that.
Yeah, there was a big hurricane 5 to 7 years ago. Cuban prices went up like crazy because the quality apparently started to degrade slightly. And obviously there's other political problems and, other issues in Cuba. But before that storm, the Cuban tobacco was much better. And I guess post-storm, it started to have a problem because there was a lot of erosion of soil. And a lot of those, and you have to age tobacco. Right. So you age it and dry it. A lot of those tobacco houses were destroyed during the storm. So they lost
so they were processed. So the processing was a problem.
Correct. But they lost millions of dollars of aged tobacco, which just makes me tear up.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that is
catastrophic.
They have really good coffee in Cuba. And
they're grown there?
Yes. And it's hard to find. I mean, I had it in France. But the thing is, there's an interesting thing that happened with coffee. And we go back to Declue. Sure. One of the original varieties of Arabica is called Typica. And it's what made Hawaiian Kona so famous. You can't really find it there anymore. It's what made Colombia famous, was Typica coffee. When they say the richest coffee in the world, at one point that was true. And that Typica coffee has this deep, heavy resonance. I mean, it's like the Cuban cigar of coffees. And that's one of the things we work to recreate in these blends. And that's because I remember when Typica was really popular and it started getting replaced with higher yielding, disease-resistant varieties. Okay. And so to this day, most people that drink Colombian, if they're younger, don't really know what the old world Colombian tasted like.
So the Colombian of the old days is not the same.
It's not the same, and you can find something kind of similar in Cuba. The Cuban coffee is really good. Okay. Jamaican Blue was more that way. It kind of is, but not so much anymore. It's not quite the same. The island profile is not the same as it used to be, because the island profile has its own terroir from being low and being near the ocean, but also part of that terroir was the Typica.
Okay.
So
I'm fascinated, and I'm almost slightly ashamed that I didn't know the history of coffee really came from only one area. I thought maybe that coffee was grown in multiple areas, because we were talking about hemp.
Right.
So, the marijuana plant has grown wild all over the world.
Yes, and mostly near like the Mongolian steppes and those
of
areas.
Course. I mean, there's marijuana that grows wild in Croatia and Bosnia. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's what I've heard.
It's wild. You know what I mean? And it's just a wild plant. It's actually a weed. They call it weed for a reason.
It's true. It's right.
But it's a weed, and I'm pretty sure that I've verified this, and I may be wrong, and someone can correct me in the comments of this video. I'm pretty sure that because there's different strains and different. I don't know if they're subspecies or related species when it comes to the plant.
For coffee?
For marijuana.
Oh, for marijuana, yes.
I think they're the same genus, but they're different species technically.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So you have ruderalis, and then you have indica sativa, and then you've got ruderalis, which are the really short ones, which are probably more native to your area.
Yes.
Did you notice they were shorter? They're called autoflower.
Yes, I remember seeing them in the mountains. My dad was pointing them out. I think I was 12. It was just after the war in Croatia, Bosnia. So I was there right after the war ended.
Oh wow,
there were still UN tanks driving down the street.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's a serious memory.
Yeah. There. Oh, it's. I mean, bullet holes everywhere. It was destroyed buildings. I mean, we couldn't go in the mountains behind my family's property because my family owned the mountainside. We couldn't go in the mountains because there's landmines everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's like, do not go back there. Well, me and my brother are young. We're 11 and 12.
Yeah, you want to go explore. You think you're invincible at that age.
We want to go explore. He was pissed.
I mean, that's a scary premise, like landmines. Like, you're hiking around, you just don't know.
In America, you don't think that's a real thing.
No.
It's a real thing. I was there. I was 12 years old, and it's like, no, if you go up there, like, you can die very easily. Like, you can step on a landmine. They're fucking everywhere.
It's so in Laos where they grow coffee. Yeah, they have this huge problem. There are campaigns about the snakes and the bombs, and there are snake and bomb campaigns to try and fund the idea of unearthing bombs from the Vietnam War and the snakes and these farmers. The number of farmers that get bit and killed by snakes or step on bombs.
Wow. Well, I mean, the snakes that's a native problem, kind of.
Yeah. I'm not sure which would be worse, to be honest with you. I don't know I'd rather just step on a bomb than die slowly from a snake.
I don't know. I'm not sure. That's a tough.
Which one? Snake or the bomb?
Yeah. It's like
30 seconds to decide.
Pick one. 30 seconds. Snake or bomb. Fuck.
Can I have some coffee first?
Just a little bit? We're going to have a cup of coffee while we decide this.
Yes, exactly.
That's right. At least But the bomb doesn't necessarily mean you're going to die.
Well, that's a good point.
You know
That's
what
a
I mean?
very good point, actually.
Because that doesn't necessarily, but also snake bites are extremely painful. But it also depends on the type of snake. It depends on your body mass, depends on your muscle mass, how fast your metabolism is, where you got bit.
So I may have been too quick to pick the bomb. Maybe I should have picked the snake. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, we
it
don't have
depends.
to really deal with these problems.
Yeah, if we pick, here in America, well, rattlesnakes are pretty poisonous. But a lot of times people don't die from rattlesnake bites.
Yes.
People think like you get bit by a snake, you're gonna die because it's poisonous. It's not necessarily true.
Yeah, that's
there are some. Like
Right,
what is
I
it?
would
Like
not
there's
want
certain vipers in Australia is like the deadliest place on the planet, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I
Like
feel like there's a
everything
lot
in
of ways to
Australia
die
can
there.
kill you.
Yes,
Apparently.
it sounds like it.
Yeah.
It seems like it.
And I was in New Zealand, and nothing in New Zealand can kill you.
Really, nothing.
There's
there at
nothing
all?
like poisonous.
Nothing at all.
No, it's really weird.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
I think about that for my dog because
So New Zealand, like, there's nothing that really kills. There's no poisonous anything. There's no. By the way, there's no insects.
there's no insects.
I swear to God, this is the weirdest thing ever. I'm sitting there with my buddy Haroon, my business partner, awesome guy, from Afghanistan. His family's from
really?
Afghanistan. He grew up in New Zealand, and he's like, I'm like, there's no bugs except for bees. There's no insects.
How does that work?
He's
That's
like, yeah, there's no
amazing.
pests here. There's no mosquitoes, anything like that. I'm like, I don't understand that.
I can't understand that at all.
That makes
That's
no
just
sense to me.
fantastic.
I'm sure they have like flies, but like there's
Right, but there's nothing that bites you.
there's no pests.
Dang.
I didn't see a cockroach. I didn't see a. It was
cockroaches.
fucking weird, man.
That sounds like paradise.
It was
sounds
weird.
Like a nice
Oh,
area.
it's so beautiful.
Yeah,
It's
I
so-
bet. Now I want to go.
A lot colder than I thought. And by the way, it's the most inaccessible place on the planet.
So
It
once
took
you're
me
there,
like 24 hours of flying to get. It was insane.
and then you have to get on a small puddle jumper and fly somewhere else.
So no, I went from Orlando to Dubai because I do business in Dubai. So I went from Orlando to Dubai. Dubai coffee culture is also very good, by the way.
Exploding.
It's beautiful. And then from Dubai, Dubai here to Dubai is 14 hours, Gary? About 15 and a half? Okay, so 15 hours. If they catch wind, it's 15. It'll 15 and a half. They don't. And then from Dubai, which is the other side of the damn planet,
Yeah.
it was another 16 hours to New Zealand.
Whoa, that's That's 100.
And then I'm like, and again, we can get tinfoil hat.
So it's 30 hours all in.
Sure. But then when I'm going, so I went, if the earth is not flat, which I don't know anymore.
I
don't know
that's
if
a whole nother conversation.
I don't know if I know anything at this point. You know what I mean?
It's
It's
true.
just so
It's
much
true.
shit out there.
Yeah, it's true.
If the earth is truly a globe and round, which I hope it is because I've believed that my whole life.
It's way more fun.
But if it's not, it was another like 22 hours of flying from New Zealand to California, then back to Florida. I'm like,
Yeah.
the times it was weird. And by the way, I left on a Saturday and I came back on a Saturday because the date line is right there.
Oh, that would be confusing. That would
It
be very confusing.
messed me up. I'm like, I just repeated the same. It's Groundhog Day.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's what
Super weird.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm getting ready to fly out to Africa, and I was thinking I could either go to Qatar or Dubai to
Both
switch
are great.
planes. And
Both
I'm
are
thinking which
great.
one.
Both are great.
Okay, so Qatar.
You've been to both?
No, I've not been to either of them.
Really?
Yet. No, I just haven't. I never needed to go for anything.
You'll love Dubai. Doha Airport, Qatar. That's Qatar, right? Yeah, Doha.
Yeah, Doha.
Yeah, so Doha Airport is magnificent.
Is it? Yeah.
Magnificent. It's so beautiful. And that whole area is so wealthy. People think Dubai is wealthy. Qatar is very wealthy.
Really, Qatar
is very wealthy.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna take some tips from you on that.
Yeah,
one.
yeah. And then you can go to the Saudi Arabias and stuff like that, and there's a lot of wealth there too.
Yeah,
but again, it's all relative.
because usually I always go through Addis or Kenya, and so it's just I always stop there, go to do Ethiopia, and then
I've never been to real Africa. And I hate even saying this. It's a bad thing to say. I've been to Africa, but it's Egypt.
Right,
which is really
it's
more
not like what you're thinking of, though. When you
Yeah,
think of
but I mean,
Africa.
people are like, oh, have you ever been to the African continent? I'm like, well, yeah, I was in Egypt. You're like, that's in Africa?
I know.
I'm like, it's a fucking globe right there. There's a globe right back there. It is in
it's
Africa.
round, right?
If it's round, yeah, there's a globe right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see the flat Earth thing? Did you see the map in the UN on the wall? Someone exposed this recently. Apparently, there was a UN Council meeting recently, and in the UN, which is Switzerland, right? It's in Geneva.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in Geneva.
It's in Geneva, and on the wall there's this old map, but they modernized it, so it's a copy of the old map, and it shows the Earth is flat.
Really?
It's really weird.
That is confusing.
It's really weird. It's very strange. You're like, they don't want you to know that the Earth isn't. They don't want you to know that the Earth isn't round. And I'm like,
or maybe someone was like, let's just mess with people. Let's
I don't know, man. I don't know.
And just get everyone all confused.
At this point, it's like it's hard to know what's real and what's not. You know, when I started really deep diving into everything, you know, and now you've inspired me to deep dive into coffee.
Yeah, do it. It's an interesting dive.
You know, I really had no idea. Did you know that it was really coming out of Ethiopia, where I mean, do we know that it originated there?
Oh yeah, there's no question.
There's no question.
Oh yeah, we went to the, we did an episode, our first episode of Chasing Coffee is in Ethiopia. And we went to the wild forest where it all started. And it's fascinating. I mean, you go in there and there's coffee trees everywhere. Most of them don't have cherries because coffee is a shade plant by nature.
Okay.
All the coffees that are in the sun have been hybridized to do that. By the way, there is no such thing as genetically modified coffees.
I was going to ask that because, you know, are they hybridizing coffee from a genome perspective? That's what I don't know.
No. So what we do, so it's more grafting is more common to create cultivars.
Okay.
So like in coffee, we have what we call varietals, and then we have cultivars. A cultivar is something that has been developed from other plants, you know, over a period of time.
Oh, okay.
Like some of the heirloom, what we call heirloom varietals would be like, there's one called Bourbon. That comes from the island of Bourbon, not necessarily always, but that's, you know, the Bourbon dynasty and that whole thing.
Got it.
So there's different varietals, and usually the more heirloom the varietal, the deeper, heavier the body. That's just a personal opinion of mine. So there is a whole, yeah, so there's a whole world there. But you know, basically. I think the first thing with tasting coffee for us is it starts with, you know, what's the primary drive you're looking for in your coffee?
Sure.
Do you want the coffee to be driven by fruit acids and florals? Mm-hmm. Do you want to pick up tangerine, essence, nectarine, maybe apricot? Those kind of flavors are in coffee, in the higher acid coffees.
I've had a few very high acid coffees that were very fruity and floral.
Yes. Did you
I've
like
noticed
those?
that. They were good.
I love them. They're great, but to me, they're a 2 p.m. coffee.
Yeah.
You know, that's just how I like them, and they're great in cold brew.
Okay. I've never been a cold brew guy.
Oh,
again, listen, I'm so traditionalist with certain things. It's like, I feel like coffee should be hot.
Yeah, I could understand the sentiment. Now, with cold brew, are you
when
familiar
did
with
when did cold coffee start coming about? I know popularity in the last like maybe couple decades, but was cold coffee, you know, was that drunk like years ago, decades ago, generations ago?
There is a history with cold coffee, but the proliferation of it in the United States was this guy called the toddy. Have you heard of the toddy system?
No.
It's a guy, he's now in Texas, actually. He still has a business with cold brew, but his family developed it. I think it was, if I remember right, late 60s, 70s. He's developed what they call the coffee toddy, which is like a 5-gallon jug. And they have a smaller toddy for the home. And essentially,
it's not just cold coffee, correct?
Well, what it is, actually, it's interesting. It's what you do is you're soaking the grounds. And like we talked about doing with rum, and you get even more extraction because of the alcohol when you soak the coffee in the rum. But you put it in a big filter bag, right? This is the
last couple drops?
Sure. This is like the primitive version of cold brew. You put the coffee in a filter bag and you let it soak in water for a long period of time. You know, overnight.
Okay.
And what ideally you do it in a refrigerated environment. And what happens is coffee, if you take green coffee, unroasted coffee, most people don't realize that coffee is the pit of a berry.
It's a coffee berry.
Right, that's right. So
can you eat those?
If you take the...
Or do animals eat those?
Oh, yes. They do. Yeah, the original story about how coffee got discovered, it's more of a myth. It's a guy named Caldi, a goat herder, and his goats were dancing around and all excited because they were eating the cherries and the leaves.
Is a green coffee bean, does it have a caffeine content?
Green coffee does have the cherry flesh is what I'm talking about, the goats eating.
Got it.
Well, they would eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
But so there's a whole storyline with that. But if you take the green coffee and you look at it in a microscope, you'll see a waxy outer layer. Mm-hmm. That's the chlorogenic acids. And what does that have to do with cold brew? Well, it's one of the reasons why cold brew doesn't hurt your stomach. So when you hot water pulls more chlorogenic acid from the coffee and puts it into your cup. Mm. So what happens is that's one of the reasons why, because chlorogenic acids, they stimulate your stomach into producing more hydrochloric acid. So when people talk about their stomach is hurt, or you know they have stomach pain from it, there are a wide range of reasons, but one of the primary reasons is that it's not the direct effect of the acidity in coffee. That does play a role, but the primary reason is it's forcing your stomach to produce more hydrochloric acid. And
Understood.
that's why you get that stomach burn.
Okay.
So that's why people love cold brew, because it's soft on their stomach. And because of the cold water, it's not pulling the chlorogenic acids off the way you would when you're brewing hot coffee.
Okay, so cold brew, the coffee itself, or from the coffee bean from the coffee grounds, it's extracted by cold water only, not hot water then chilled.
Correct. And there's a huge difference.
I actually had no idea.
And there's a huge difference because it has less chlorogenic acid in it. And when you heat, like, have you ever noticed when you leave coffee on a warmer for a long period of time, it has that sort of, it turns it into quinic acid. So chlorogenic acid converts to quinic acid.
Okay.
That's why it tastes bitter, like quinine.
Okay.
So there's all these acid changes that happen with coffee. And what happens with cold brew is why it's so smooth is because there's not as much chlorogenic acid. And what happens, it's very interesting what happens. The profile is different in cold brew. It's more simple. The body is accentuated. So the body can sometimes be heavier, but it's more simple but pronounced. So like, for example, if I have I'll say a geisha coffee. Geisha coffee is a variety. Some people have heard of it. Sells for sometimes $1,000, $15,000 a pound.
Whoa!
Out of Panama is a popular
I
place.
heard geisha. I automatically thought Asian.
Yes, Asian.
Okay,
Yes.
so no, it's not that kind of geisha.
It's funny. We did an episode in Japan where I brewed geisha coffee for a geisha, and I think I was the first coffee roaster to ever do that. It was interesting. So the geisha coffee, the original profile. It came from Gesha. It's spelled Gesha in Ethiopia.
Okay.
And now we spell it Geisha. It's kind of a play on both.
Sure.
So what happened was that profile has changed now as they've grown it in Panama and some of these other countries. That profile originally was very specifically like lemongrass, bergamot. So think like, if you're wondering bergamot, for people who don't know, it's like Earl Grey tea.
Yep.
Kind of like Earl Grey tea meets lemon meets sort of a jasmine.
Yeah,
right?
I know the bergamot flavor well.
Okay, so you pick it up with geisha big time. Now, if you put that in cold brew, it just blows up.
Really?
But there are like 4 or 5 other flavor components to geisha in the hot cup. Those all go away, and those 3 primary are what stays in the cold brew, but they're accentuated.
Awesome.
So it's less complex, but more pronounced.
So cold brew is not necessarily as blasphemous as I thought it was.
No, it's exactly. It's a different way of drinking coffee. And like I take like a high acid coffee like from Ethiopia and do a cold brew with that. Oh, it can be really nice. You can pick up blueberry in it. You can pick up really pronounced, almost like drinking pie, like a blueberry pie, the spice of a pie.
So, I mean, you traveled all over the place for coffee. How many countries have you traveled with for coffee? You know what I mean? If you understand my question.
I'd say the main probably over 20 that are coffee relative.
Okay.
So the main coffees that we're buying, the countries that we're sourcing our coffees from now are Sumatra, Uganda. We get involved with Kenya. Kenyan coffees are not currently in our blends because they're not certified organic.
Got it.
We're buying coffees from Guatemala, from Mexico, from Brazil. Where else? Sumatra. Did I mention Sumatra?
Yep. So who has the best coffee culture that you've seen? And maybe it's not even a coffee native country. Is there a coffee culture that you would kind of put amongst, above the rest?
Yes, easily. Ethiopia. It's fascinating.
Really?
Oh my gosh. Coffee is embedded in
Gary,
their culture.
we need to go to Ethiopia,
You need
bro.
to. You know what's so cool about Ethiopia is one of the things I love about coffee is it's conversational. Like, look at what we're having this long conversation about coffee.
Oh, listen, I've learned so much about coffee. Like, I'm fascinated by coffee now. I'm not going to let you, I'm sure you have work to do. I'm going to kidnap you to the cigar lounge where we're talking about coffee.
I'm in. But there's so much. Ethiopia I love it because they have these things called coffee ceremonies, and it's part of their culture. And it's one of the reasons I think why people get along so well, because they communicate, because they have these coffee ceremonies where people from the neighborhood, so to speak, it's not a neighborhood like we know here.
Sure, yeah.
People from villages or areas, they all come together and they do this elaborate friendship ceremony. We cover it in our first episode of Chasing Coffee. And it's just it's a fascinating thing. You've got this whole methodology. They roast the coffee green over a fire.
So they're roasting the coffee over fire.
Yes, and you can do that with like a frying pan, and you don't put oil in it or anything. It seems counterintuitive, but you just
they have oil. There's oil in the beans.
Yes, yeah. And that comes out, and it's technically water soluble. It's technically not an oil, but we call it an oil.
Got it.
But yes, for all practical purposes, it's an oil. You keep stirring it, and all of a sudden it starts getting brown. It gets brown. It starts getting oily. It pops. That pop is the CO2. The CO2 being expressed from the coffee. Next thing you know, you've got this oily coffee. They do this whole thing where they crush it. they do so many different things with coffee, but the people in Ethiopia are so kind and friendly. I've never seen anything like it. It's unlike any other country I've been to in Africa.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a fascinating coffee. There are other coffee cultures that are really impressive and sort of quintessential in their own sense. If you take one thing away, they're not the same.
Got it.
You know, but Ethiopia.
But
really
Ethiopia's the
stands out.
coffee. That's the coffee capital, it seems.
That's right.
And it's where it originated.
Yes,
So
exactly.
even cooler.
Exactly. And, as far as, Panama has created their own unique culture on these really expensive coffees. And they really push the envelope with how they process and grow. And they're sort of the masters when it comes to what can you do with a bean, And there's one estate that the first coffee I ever bought back in 1992 here in Orlando. And it's a guy named Lenny Lamastis, and he's still to this day, he's a good friend. His farm is what's called the Elita Estate, is the famous globally, probably the most famous coffee farm for their coffees of high value. And they were the first to sell for $1,000 a pound green. Wow. And then there's another Esmeralda. There's the Elite Estate, and then there's another coffee estate called Esmeralda. They recently sold, I think it was $12,000 to $15,000 a pound at the auction. And a guy from Saudi Arabia bought a bag. It was over $1 million for a bag of coffee. So my hat's off to them.
Better be some damn good coffee. I'm all about spending money, guys.
So I know it's that's a whole thing. So it's actually funny because Jason and I, we talked about, Jason's like, we got to get this geisha coffee. And I said, well, let's get some. We're going to get some on the next round here. In a week, there's some geisha coming in from that estate. It comes right here into Orlando. And the funny thing is, as geisha has evolved and at all these competitions, and they have cupping competitions and auctions, and they adapt it and they start changing the profile. So now you're getting pineapple and passion fruit notes in the geisha, and it's a lot of fun. But I have to be honest with you, I still harken back to the age-old geisha profile of the bergamot, the lemon, and the jasmine. So that's the one we're going to start carrying. And, we're going to extend out to doing a small lot line with Truista, where we start to feature these smaller farms, and it's limited varieties, and we run out. And, right now,
number them, all that kind of stuff.
Yes, we're going to number them. These coffees, the subscription structure that we have right now, I think it's a great all around. You're always going to want those coffees, and then you can supplement with the small lot coffees.
Got it.
But the way our subscription program works, it's very practical. It's, you get discounts the more you order, and we have a big, strong attachment to loyalty. That's Jason. That's his forte.
Of course, that's what he does.
Yeah, he's so big on, it's fun working with him because he really pushes everything. He tears everything apart, and he's big on, we got to make this better. There cannot be any glitches, any mistakes. This whole cleanest bean the world has ever seen it's textbook Jason Tabeau.
I mean, it sounds like you guys really hit the mark here. I mean, it sounds like you hit the mark for the cleanest bean I've ever seen.
I believe. I mean, you can't find labs. We were looking at some of these companies that are catering to this desire for people to know more what they're drinking.
Sure.
And I can't find labs on. You go to these websites, and I can't find. There was one that I found one lab from a while ago. But it just drives me crazy because I feel like, why not just make it easy?
Yeah.
With our bag, you can scan the back, the QR code, and this actual bag that you're holding, I can scan this QR code, and it goes right to the labs, right on the website. Boom, you can print them out, download them, easy to find.
So I can go straight to a COA.
Yeah, you can go right there. You click on that, it goes right to a COA.
I want to do it right now.
Drum roll, please.
Let's see. QR code. Truista Coffee. Enter the 5-digit. Oh, here we go. Certificate analysis.
Yes.
Literally right here.
Yes. And that's, I think that's so important. I think why aren't more products like that?
Look at this. So
why not just do that? Why not just
certificate of analysis produced December 22nd, 2025. Edible solid.
And some of those are we do COAs on the green coffee based on the loads that we bring in.
That looks like it's green coffee?
Yes. And then we'll do more regularly on the brewed for acrylamide. We do the acrylamide testing more regularly on the brewed coffee because acrylamide you have to test when the coffee is already brewed. You can't test it when it's green because acrylamide isn't in the green coffee.
Understood.
Yeah, kind of what happens with the acrylamide thing is there's a amino acid that coffee produces, the plant.
Okay.
It's called asparginase, and it's an amino acid. It doesn't have really a particularly a flavor. It's not something that normally I would have talked about as a roaster.
Sure.
Didn't actually know much about it.
Okay.
I started digging in when Jason
It's amazing. I mean, you're learning as you're doing
you're
this,
always
right?
learning with coffee.
Yeah.
That's what's so fun. But anyway, what the plant does is it triggers asparginase which converts to ammonium, which converts to nitrogen, so that it's helping the plant grow with nitrogen. So also, if the plant gets injured, if a limb gets torn off, it distributes more nitrogen, more aspargine to create nitrogen. So it's a nitrogen generator.
Okay.
So it makes sense, and it's also in potatoes, and it's acrylamide's in a lot of other things. And the reason why French fries and potato crisps are so high in acrylamide, because one thing about coffee is it's low in acrylamide compared to French fries, but when you start getting into the MTFHR DNA mutation, you start thinking what if you can't process this acrylamide? Yep. Yeah, there's not a whole lot in the coffee, but you're drinking it every day, and it's collecting in your system. And I just wonder.
Listen, this is why I tell people constantly. We do genetic tests with the clinic as well, with a medical clinic.
Oh, really? You do?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
I mean, we found gene mutations for people. Actually, my own medical director, he had basically a chronic blood pressure and cholesterol issue. Found out that he had some kind of gene mutation that was causing this, and all he needed to do was take some kind of methylated vitamin.
That's all he had to do.
And it's all he had to do. And there's no way he could have known unless he took that genetic test. Huge.
Wow.
But one of the cool things, real quick, going back to the COA, the first thing that I see, yeast and mold.
Yeah.
The number one thing that I have a problem with coffee in general is the yeast and mold content, which you have no idea what you're drinking.
You just don't know. And look, I mean, you may be okay, but you don't know unless you see it.
And this says not detectable.
Right. Yeah, we always go for that.
Which means there's none.
Right.
There's none detectable. Pass.
And
that right there, that I can scan that bag of coffee and know that there's no yeast and mold in there is massive.
It is, gives you peace of mind. Here's the thing about mold too. People always say, well, doesn't the roaster, you're cooking the coffee to 400 plus degrees. Doesn't it roast it out? The answer is yes, it does roast. It burns off most of the mold, but not the mycotoxins. It does burn up to half, maybe even more of the mycotoxins, but it doesn't burn them all.
Yeah.
I mean, they can survive in the heat.
Of course.
Which is, to me, is like, whoa.
Mold molecules are fascinating.
Yeah, they
if you
really
look at
are.
The science of them.
I think
they can live through almost. I mean, you can find like mold and mold spores in places where nothing else living can live.
Yeah, that's interesting. It
it's
doesn't
pretty
surprise
cool.
me.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Pretty cool and also kind of creepy at the same time.
Yes. Oh, there's life forms. I mean, you talk about the life forms that are found near those thermo pools and near the hot springs and things.
Yes.
No living thing can live in that. The sulfur content alone, basically, it negates all life. Yet there is some kind of mold living in there.
Right, like in Arenal, the volcano in Costa Rica.
Exactly.
We did an episode there.
I climbed next to Arenal.
Okay. Yes.
So so Arenal volcano. There's a huge resort right there.
Yes,
I know the owner of it.
Oh, do you really? Okay.
Amazing. I went to his other resorts. That's in the mountains.
Did you see the howler monkeys too?
Of course.
Yeah, they're the best.
Screaming at you.
I love those things.
So I hiked Cerro Chapo.
Can't remember. I don't know.
So basically, the tectonic plates are moving.
Yes.
So Arenal volcano is still a live volcano.
Yes. Oh, yes.
It's not live, but it's live.
Right.
You can't go up it. You're not allowed to climb it because I asked. Of course.
I'm trying to remember. Okay, there's one that we went to, and it's ridiculous. We covered it in an episode, and we hiked down near the crater. We weren't really supposed to.
I think that was Cerro.
We didn't get really close. It might have been.
I think that's the old volcano. So when it was
it's a turquoise blue down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I climbed it.
Okay, very cool.
So
I
went
down in there too a little bit.
It was sketchy.
It was.
That's a sketchy.
You don't want to get too close.
That's a sketchy climb and hike.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, there was a couple of times where who was I with? I was with my wife at the time actually, and we're climbing this volcano, or the dead volcano, the one next to it, Cerro Chapo or Cerro Pacho. I can't remember the name of it. But we're climbing it, and it's a mountain, and she's like, "Hey, just be careful on the step back." I look over, it's a cliff.
Oh my gosh! Is there any point where your wife asked, "Is this safe, honey?"
100%. She actually asked several times. She's like, "Are we gonna die?"
She jumped right to that.
Right to that. Yeah, it wasn't like, "Are we safe?" It was also halfway up that dead volcano. It said, "Do not pass," and it was in Spanish and English. And it said, "Do not pass. If you pass, we will not come and rescue you."
Wow. Okay.
If you climb past this point, we are not coming to rescue you.
Did you go past the point?
Of course. Went all the way to the top. That was halfway up the mountain. I'm like, screw this.
With cigar in his hand too,
Oh yeah. I mean, it was incredible. But I mean, it was a 9.5 hour hike. up and down. So it was long.
Yeah, that's a hardy hike.
Oh,
sure.
I was hurting.
Yeah,
my whole body hurt after that.
But great memories.
Amazing. Have
you gone to Guatemala?
No.
You have to go. You have to go and do. I have not. There's one thing I've not done in Guatemala. Hike to the top. You can hike to Asatenango, which is one of the volcanoes. There's I think it's Asatenango. You can hike up to the top, and then you camp out up there, and you're looking across fuego, which regularly erupts. It's active. There's lava.
So there's lava actually coming out.
Oh, and you've got the stars above
That's
you.
so cool.
Oh, it's fascinating. Guatemala is probably my favorite country of all.
Really?
It is outstanding there.
Okay.
Oh, the food culture in Antigua. I mean,
I heard the food is
cuisine.
amazing. I heard the food is
So
amazing.
good, and the coffee's great too.
Yeah.
So
I mean, when I was in Costa Rica and we're eating at the resort and all that stuff, and the resort foods they're good. But after that hike, we went to some random place in the middle of the city after that volcano hike, and I'm like, let's just get steaks. We're starving.
Yeah.
8.5 hour hike.
And how were they? How were the steaks?
Amazing.
Okay.
But it was literally,
That's good.
it was a hole in the wall, tiny little place. The steak came out. It's the size of my damn torso.
Yeah,
I'm like,
a
what
huge
the
stick
fuck
of
is
steak.
this?
Like those.
And it was like $9.
Oh my gosh.
The best thing. It was one of the best meals I ever had after a 9-hour hike.
And you appreciate that after a 9-hour hike.
100%, you know,
Yeah.
and I mean, we were so grateful for the food at that point, but I mean, it's, traveling is just such an incredible gift,
Oh, it's so much fun.
and learning about all these cultures. And now I want to travel for coffee.
You know what's fun about traveling for coffee is that you're traveling in such a way that you create this close touch relationship with the farmer. So you're not just like you're traveling, but you're dealing with them on a business one-to-one, and you're dealing in an area that's their livelihood.
Yeah.
So you're discussing topics that are deeper, and you're having it's just a more intimate experience. You really sort of step into their world more, because you're buying their product too, but you're also coming up with solutions. And it's fun because when you're traveling from coffee farm to coffee farm, you learn things from a coffee farmer in, Africa.
Sure.
That you can share with the guy, the coffee farmer in Mexico.
Sure.
And vice versa. So it's kind of, you do have something to offer. I'm not like an expert coffee farmer, but I learn things along the way, and it's fun to share that knowledge. And then I just love it. It's so much fun.
Now, circling back to the coffee itself, the coffee tree, it's a tree, correct?
Yeah.
So the coffee tree is the species of the coffee tree most important? Is the soil most important? Is the way it's grown? Like what's the most important thing that makes the best coffee bean?
Well, that's a great question, and there's sort of a wide range of answers.
Okay.
But I can answer that in sort of 3 points.
Sure.
The first is, like, if you understand, like, why do people say high altitude coffees are the best? If you want fruit acids and florals, they are the best because the coffees grow slower.
Okay.
So coffee loves like 72 degrees, 68 degrees, median temperature. It doesn't like big temperature shifts.
Okay.
But it
Kind of
loves
like it's kind of like tobacco.
Yes, very
Okay.
very similar. It grows in different terroir, but coffee loves a 58 degree all of a sudden, because then it converts the starch to sugars and it gets sweeter. Kind of like how like in Orlando the orange juice is better in November because they've had a frost.
Yep.
Same thing with coffee, and you only get that really at high altitudes. So you get a higher level of sweetness, and it's because the coffee is growing slower. So it's focusing, it's concentrating, those components and
Is it the
creating
moisture levels too, maybe? Does that have something to do with it?
Here's the thing about the moisture. Yes, it can. That's one of the reasons why Panamanian coffees are so fantastic, because they have this thing called the Bajareke, which is the warm winds of the Pacific and the cool winds of the Caribbean. I thought it was the opposite. I thought it'd be the warm winds of the Caribbean, but it's the opposite. They collide and they create this, and you can watch them colliding. You can watch these mists come and they go boom, and it creates this big plume and it bounces off, and then it mists all the coffee trees.
Wow.
So water can play a key role, but high altitude creates a slower growing coffee, which makes it denser, sweeter. And then also what it does is the plants are at high altitude. So there's an argument to be made that the closer you are to the volcano, the higher level of nutrients, because you're closer to the caldera. So there's higher level of nutrients, but also the plants like to be on an incline where there's more drainage.
Got it. So they don't want to be sitting there in very moist grounds. They want the water to be flowing.
Exactly, because that's why you'll notice if you ever go hiking through a jungle, you'll notice that most of the foliage, the leaves are bigger because you're at lower elevation, and the plants have to adapt to having water sort of drenched into them. There's not a lot of drainage.
Sure.
So coffee will do that, and it will adapt. But like I have coffee plants here in Florida, and it tastes horrible. It tastes vegetable-y. It's not that sweet.
Really?
It's not that good.
Okay.
So
I didn't even know you could grow coffee in Florida.
you can. It doesn't do very well. My trees are like 7-8 feet, and this frost we had a couple of days ago is probably going to kill them. So I cut them down to. So the way it works with coffee is you plant from seedling, and you don't get fruit for like 2 or 3 years. Oh. And then the plants, after about 5 to 7 years, you skelletize them. So you cut them down. You cut it down to about 21 inches.
Okay.
And then they'll regrow, and then another year or two later, you have fruit. So what happens is, though, in poorer communities, it can be really hard to convince people that they need to like cut down this thing that's giving them fruit. You have to explain to them, like, you have to do the math the right way, and you have to crop rotate, and you have to take 20% of your crop, cut it down, because it's going to produce a bumper crop. Proportionately, you're going to get more fruit over a longer period of time.
Well, that's how forests and jungles have grown for eons. I mean, but nature did it itself.
Exactly.
A lightning strike,
That's right.
flash burns of the forest. Like, oh my God, this forest was destroyed. I'm like, well, it needed it.
Right, exactly.
It had to happen.
Right. It just needs. You get much better fruit, but it's like crop rotation. It's hard to do, and so that plays into, actually, all that kind of relates to this topic of what creates molds, what creates problems in the coffee. Sometimes these countries, if they don't do that properly, if they do it properly, it can have the net result of a bumper crop. And if, like, I remember in Honduras, about 5 years ago, they had a huge bumper crop, and it was actually a problem because they didn't have the processing infrastructure to manage it. So we were starting to get a lot of concrete and rocks in the coffee, and I'm thinking, what's going on?
Weird.
And it's because they didn't have enough room to dry it, so they were renting out schoolyards and putting it on the basketball fields. And it was very inconsistent, and there was a problem. There were some diseases that started setting in, and because they weren't keeping up with. What they'll do is they'll spray copper sulfite on the coffee sometimes, and it prevents leaf rust, which is a fungus.
Okay.
It'll wipe out entire crops. It's
really
brutal. Yeah. So sometimes a lot of why it's important to be on the ground and know what's going on is when those kind of things happen, you're aware of it, and you can either pivot or you can help manage that adjustment. And that plays into the cup you're drinking, knowing it's clean. And that's why, yes, we can do third-party lab tests, and we have to do that, but it really is important to go way far beyond that. And it's not just knowing the infrastructure and adapting to changes that come, but it's also partnering with the farms and not leaving them hanging, so to speak.
Makes sense.
Helping them manage those adjustments. If a coffee that we get from a farm doesn't meet our spec, I'll on the side help them sell it. I have other people that'll buy it.
Got it. Yeah. So you're really partnering with these farms. I mean, you're really helping them, from the ground level, really.
Yes, and I think that's the way to do it. I think that's the way to make it a reciprocal relationship. This organic certification thing, I'm a big fan of any initiative to try and do something like organic certification, but it does have its limitations. So, one of our goals in the future is to create our own organic certification, because the problem with the organic certification is that it's such a one-size-fits-all thing, and a lot of these farmers, they miss the opportunity because they can't afford it. It takes too much time. Some of them are even doing greater things than the certified organic farms, but they're not certified. So we want to be able to start to do that. Once we develop people's trust, we want to start developing lines that have our own certification, where we're doing all of our lab tests, and we just sort of share that information with people who can then drink our coffee. And it's going to give us a lot more freedom.
Yeah, of course.
So
what do you see? What do you see really before we wrap up here? I have no idea how long we've been talking. I think we've been on here for
how long
almost
has it been? I mean, time
hour
flies.
hour and a half almost.
Oh, really? We hit that. Okay.
It's amazing. I love it.
I thought, well, if it's only 15 minutes and they're kicking me out, then something's wrong.
No. Yeah, I know we've been over an hour. And you want to know the reason why? Your timer's still going.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you're right. Whoa, yeah, that's a good point.
Yes, ex-law enforcement.
One thing I want to mention, too, before we
everything.
forget. I do want to mention this because I do want to mention we have this certificate of authenticity that comes with each bag. And it's got the roast ID on it. This was Jason Taboe's idea, and that is like vintage Jason Taboe, isn't it?
100%.
Isn't it? Totally. And like he was all over every detail of that card. And like, it's got to be this and this, and it's got to show. He wants people to know, like, you can trust this. And he pays attention to all the details. That's one of the things I like about working with him is he's so good at that stuff. That's not my thing.
Sure.
And he's really got his hands wrapped around the science of it and the health side and the biohacking side as a biohacker himself.
Sure.
And I'm the coffee, and he's great about staying in his lane. I stay in my lane.
Well, he loves
work
coffee.
Together.
He loves coffee.
He loves coffee.
So he loves coffee. So if you don't have something in the marketplace, or in this industry that is meeting your standards, and he has some high standards. I know.
Oh, yes.
I know him well.
Yes.
So he has some high standards. So he's like, well, nobody else is doing it.
Exactly.
Let's make it.
And did he tell you about because he had some health issues that came up?
Yep.
And that was why I thought that was so interesting. He came to me and said, look, I'm trying to find, I need to know what I'm drinking. And I don't want the acrylamide. I don't want any of it. And so we got to come up with a way to, get rid of all this stuff and have a really clean bean. But it was that he sort of went on this mission to try and find a clean coffee, and he couldn't find one. And that I just thought that was interesting. Made me realize there are a lot of people out there. I take it for granted.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people out there that they just want to know what they're drinking, and they have some of them have sensitive issues, and a little bit of mycotoxin may be acceptable to some people, but it's not to them.
Well, listen, I mean, at this point, with how bad the food and water and everything, I mean, we're in America.
Yes.
We're filming this in America. We've been all over the world, both of us.
Yes.
The quality standards here when it comes to food, when it comes to beverages, things like they're like.
It's got to be the worst, isn't it?
I think it's the worst.
I think it is the worst.
Yeah. I think it's known that it's the worst.
Right. I think you're right. I think
you know
it's
what
the
I mean?
worst.
So it's
right.
like, and I talk about food and stuff like that all the time on my social media and on podcasts. And they're like, oh yeah, great, Tomo. Another thing that I can't drink or eat. I'm like, it's not that you can't drink or eat it. I'm like, I just want to, I'm educating you so you understand that there are informed choices that you can make better choices.
You can.
They exist.
Yes.
And this is one of them, which is awesome.
Exactly. And we are, by the way, we're coming up with this really super cool.
And this is not an ad for them, by the way, guys. Just so you know, this is not an ad for that. Like, I'm friends with Jason. We became good friends.
Yes.
I'm going to drink this coffee because I want something of better quality.
Yeah.
So we're not sitting here sponsored by Truista Coffee.
No, I'm not.
This is real.
I would stand behind it. I wouldn't do this if I didn't really totally. I mean, we spent a lot of time. My son has been learning the coffee, and we worked together on this. I've never put more time in anything coffee wise than I did these blends. I spent a lot of time in these blends, and it was a lot of fun. And we also have these pods coming out. They're like a K-cup.
Okay.
It's the only one.
I'm assuming without the plastics.
Yes. No plastics. In fact, a lot of that stuff, it's like gimmicky, like you can compost it, but you really can't because this thing, like literally you can look and you can take this and throw it in your garden and plants will grow out of it. It's 100% compostable, certified compostable pods.
Wow.
But here's one of the coolest things. You can put 40% more than any other pod on the market of coffee because pods are too weak. They're like 9 grams, 11 grams.
They're not only too weak, but they are, I'm sorry, they're toxic.
They're gnarly.
They're bad.
Oh man, they're gnarly.
They're bad. When you think about, I also saw this about coffee makers too. And the reason why I started talking about coffee makers the other day, and I'm like, because we have a Nespresso.
Yes.
I have nothing against Nespresso. Nespresso's better than a lot of drip coffees and stuff like that.
The quality is
the quality's better.
They do a good job. Yeah.
I don't know if their pods are better. Because I think they're metal.
Plastic.
Are they plastic?
They have an aluminum one. I think they're coming out with. I think, but
it's better.
I'm not sure. But
that's better.
Much better.
Yeah,
much better.
But I mean, you think about it. All the tubing inside those they're all plastic.
I know. It creeps me out. I don't like it. I'm not
the microplastic. And did you see all the data that's coming out about the microplastics and nanoplastics that are in our brain?
Oh, we're starting to test for microplastics. We can do it now.
I mean, in the blood. So they're testing brain matter, testicular tissue. They're saying that most men have a very high amount of plastics, microplastics and nanoplastics in their testicles, which is lowering their testosterone, causing them fertility issues.
It does lower your testosterone.
Yeah. So you see this and it's going all through there, but there's a hack to it. Sauna.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
You can eliminate 80 to 90% of the microplastics in your body through dry sauna. So not steam room, sauna.
Why not the steam?
I don't know the mechanism of action, but
yes.
There's data that proves this.
Okay, interesting.
So you can actually, so everybody's like, well, I can't get rid of plastics in my life because plastic is literally in everything.
Yeah, that's a really good reason to start doing the sauna.
Sauna is huge. I mean, they're saying that sauna can decrease your all-cause mortality doing 20 minutes, I think 3 to 5 days a week. They're saying 170 degrees plus.
Okay. So what do people default to normally? Like what's the default? What would normally, is that hot? Is 170 degrees?
That's where a sauna usually should be.
Okay. So that's normal sauna.
Because I have a infrared sauna. My infrared sauna only goes to 160.
I thought about those infrared ones.
So infrared sauna, there's benefits to infrared as well,
right.
But the infrared sauna, the heat actually only goes to 160. So instead of being 20 minutes in there, I'll do 30 minutes.
So you can go longer. Does that work? Does that offset the 10 degree deficiency?
I don't know. It's
Okay.
just, I have the one, it's in my backyard. So
Yeah.
I just use that one. But the ones at the gym, they're usually about 180 degrees,
Okay. All right.
20 minutes a day, couple days a week. They're saying it can decrease all-cause mortality and heart issues by 50 to 70%.
It's amazing how the simple things, right? It's so much of it. We're going back to the simple things.
That's what everybody's going back to. It's
Yeah.
to go to the farmer to get your steak, jump in the sauna, cold showers,
Yes. Oh my gosh.
But
yeah.
again, you have to limit your exposure to all this stuff. And I talk about this stuff constantly. And, I'm super happy that, we got to have this conversation. But real quick, before we wrap up, because
Yes.
I want to ask, where is the future of coffee going? Because I feel like I feel like it went a little awry for a second.
Yes, and how? And I think that's interesting.
With the prevalence, I think coffee culture started to get really cool and really good, but then it got really corporatized.
Yes.
And I hate to keep harping on Starbucks, but I'm not a fan of them, but it is what it is, and whatever's happening with Dunkin' Donuts and most of the other coffee shops, but the coffee, it starts with the coffee bean and the coffee farmer, certificate of authenticity. You guys are the only ones doing this. So that I know
we're
of.
the only ones you can find our labs and it's easy.
So, but the future of coffee, it started getting really weird when they started doing every weird flavor, for the coffees where it's like, yeah, your upside down pineapple, mocha latte with foam and all this shit. And I'm like, that's not coffee, that's dessert.
Right. It's not. Really,
It's not coffee. There is a shot of espresso and there's a bunch of seed oils and chemicals and unnatural flavors in there.
Oh, you
know what I mean?
When
So-
you really start tearing apart some of that stuff, it's pretty gnarly.
It's bad.
Like
There's
non-dairy creamer and stuff.
There's like 70. There's like 70 ingredients in like the what we just got out of pumpkin spice season. Thank the Lord.
Yeah, I know that's a huge
Those
one.
pumpkin spice lattes are filled with a shitload of chemicals.
Yes.
So do you see coffee kind of going back to its roots from as an industry man? Do you see it kind of going back to its roots where coffee is being appreciated for coffee, or are we still kind of on this spiraling course of not even coffee?
I have hope that we'll go back to its roots, but I think it starts with, I think that we need to take the pretentiousness out of the coffee culture.
Okay.
Make coffee more acceptable, more approachable. All this inside baseball jargon and lexicon. And,
Got it.
I think coffee needs to be, I really think profile wise, we want to play more towards body and the things that people really want, make them, they don't need to feel guilty for drinking. Coffee can be really complex and have all the things you want.
Yeah.
And I think more diversity in supply, more diversity in flavor, but not always not every coffee has to be acidic and florals. And
Sure.
you go to a small coffee shop, it's always tart and tangy in the latte.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? Whatever happened to the classic Italian deep body, heavy, chocolatey, without the Robusta like the Italians put in there?
Yeah,
You
sure.
don't want the Robusta, you
Yeah.
know? So I'm hoping that people will start focusing more on clean coffee, the need for it. And then I think with our coffees, you're going to find, I'm telling you, really, everyone that tries this coffee, they love it. They really love it. We have a farm partner in Yuma that I mentioned before. We grow the cannabis hemp and we grow we're starting the einkorn wheat. Anyway, I brought some coffee to his wife who has a restaurant, really nice restaurant there. She and her partner from Oregon said, this is the best coffee I've ever had. I have to have it. They're going to carry it in their restaurant. And they noticed, without me saying it, the almond and the chocolate notes. So I think it's about making coffee more fun, but actually really paying attention to the profile and making it a profile people like. I can go on and on. There's stuff we're doing in Zimbabwe to try and revive. We're really on the early stages of trying to revive the infrastructure. There was a big land grab in Zimbabwe, and they were doing 16,000 kilos of coffee per year. Now they're doing 300 kilos per year. And it's some of the world's best coffee, and you can't get it.
Interesting.
And it's a rust belt, and there's a huge opportunity. And we found that cannabinoid hemp is perfect because we talked before about 2 to 3 years before coffee bears fruit. What do you do to make money in between? 90 days, they can grow cannabis hemp, and we can buy that from them, produce it into medicines that are clean.
Sure.
It pulls the toxins out, but then we eliminate those toxins, isolate the molecules, so it's a sellable product. And they make money, good money, and they make it in 90 days.
Wow.
So that's why I think a lot of being involved at the farm level is finding other crops for the farms.
Sure.
So that you can provide for them other things. You have to kind of get into their shoes and say, oh, we need other things here. You need also playgrounds. The kids need to play. They need books, education. You need to be able to, the big thing is, look, my kid can't go to school because we need food. So you give them beans and rice and you say, look, we're going to give you food so that your kid can go to school, and you help offset that.
No, that's awesome.
So I think that's the future of coffee. It's getting more involved on the farm. People know that they're getting clean coffee, and then the third tier to that is profiles that people really like.
Makes sense. I love that, man. Yeah, I mean, you guys are doing a great thing here. I'm super happy to get to meet you. And as long as you're not in a run, we'll go have a cigar downstairs.
Yeah, I love it.
And I'm going to have them. You know what I want? Because I'm an espresso guy. So
awesome. Yes.
I wonder if they can grind this for us and make espresso
please,
for us.
I would love to dial that in with them. That'd be so much fun.
That would be super cool. And I because I trust this, because I know this, because I know Jason and now you, I'm going to tell these guys that this is the coffee you need to get from now on.
Oh, right on.
This is the way it has
they'll
to be.
I promise you they'll love it. They will. And okay, here's the one thing I'm looking forward to one day seeing an Instagram post of you up on looking at Fuego in Guatemala with the coffee and the cigar.
Listen,
that'll be the day.
Maybe you join me for that trip.
Perfect. I'll be in there.
And we'll bring Gary and we'll do a podcast on the top of the mountain.
I like it. Gary,
Why
you're
not?
in. Are you in, Gary?
Gary's in. Gary's 100%
Yeah, very
in.
cool.
He's traveled with me all over the world already.
Oh, nice.
We have a lot more travels to be going to. But
right on.
This was an excellent conversation.
Oh, thank you so much.
Very educational, and I truly have such an interest. And your show again that you produced.
Oh, Chasing Coffee, and please check out the show Chasing Coffee. It's on Tubi for free.
Sure.
You can buy it on Amazon Prime. And it's, it's really fun. I mean, you'll see we went to Turkey, Japan, Guatemala, Istanbul, you name it, Hawaii. It's a really good look at coffee cultures, and it's really a travel series, so it's fun. It's not as much a documentary. I did do an original documentary we're going to put up on YouTube. I produced it in 2011, and it's about geisha coffee, and it's really fascinating because it takes you into the early interviews of some of the pioneers of geisha.
Awesome.
So there's some fun stuff there. And we're hoping to do another season called Changing Coffee with Jason.
Fantastic. Well, listen, maybe I'll join you on some of your coffee expeditions. But guys, thank you so much for watching. If this was interesting to you, leave a comment. Tell me about your coffee experience. Tell me about what you love or not love about coffee. If you're not a coffee guy, I think we can probably persuade you to be one. And check out Truista Coffee. What's the website?
TruistaCoffee.com.
TruistaCoffee.com. Highly suggest this product. It's probably the best tasting coffee that I've had in a very long time.
Awesome.
Definitely the best tasting coffee I've had in the United States.
I love hearing that, and it gave you the coffee chills. So
listen, I got coffee chills smelling this stuff. Check out Truista. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this with people. Let's learn more about coffee. Thanks again for coming on.
Right on. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Pleasure.